Welcome everyone to another session of Crituitous Roleplay. Previously, you all had adventured into the dungeon within White Plume Mountain. Your goal was to collect the 3 legendary magical items that were hidden within in order to keep them from the hands of the giants. You had delved deep through the first area, and in a underground lake, you managed to collect Wave, the legendary trident. You then continued on through more tunnels, bypassing some very deadly traps, and found yourself with Black Razor, the legendary longsword. Then you continued on through the last tunnel, bypassing a couple simpler traps, one simple trap of platforms, where you managed to find a dwarven vampire wielding Whelm. And after slaying the dwarven vampire, you were able to collect the 3rd and final legendary weapon, this great warhammer named Whelm. Shortly after picking up the items and feeling confident you are done with all the questing you needed to be done in here, Taman received a message from his familiar indicating that 3 giants and creatures that looked similar to orcs are headed up the mountain and were about 3 hours away. They were, I think it worked out to be 21 miles. What would you guys like to do?
Okay, first of all, hears the word orc mentioned, and he's just... who mentioned that during the RP, by the way? It was actually explicitly spoken aloud that orcs were there?
I think I mentioned the 6 smaller figures with tusks, and I think Loic concluded they would be orcs.
Okay, excellent.
I specifically said orcs or ogres.
Okay. Yeah.
Terrific. Yeah, Owen his face just kind of drops. It becomes more serious than anybody's ever seen it yet. It's more focused, and he just looks at Loic. He says, "Did you say orcs?"
Could be, based on the description.
That's good enough for me. He slings his bow and he just makes ready to go back out the way they came.
Owen, surely you do not seek to face them single-handed.
I was prepared to from the moment I set out.
You need not fight alone, child.
I suppose there's no point in keeping it from you lot any longer. But 3 moons ago my father was murdered. I came home from a hunt one day and found him slain. He takes out an item from his pack and he just shows it, and it looks to be, well, an orc dagger. And he says, "I found this next to his body. I tracked his killers to this area. I thought they might be holed up inside here, but they're not. I need to take a chance. I need to see if these might be the ones that murdered my family."
Okay, well, hitting them head on doesn't seem wise. I'm happy to help you in this. Being down here and not take on the giants themselves, as Loic suggested.
There are easier ways to locate people that you're seeking than going toe-to-toe with 3 giants and 6, whatever they are.
When you spoke of these giants before... Sorry, Bob.
Please carry on.
You spoke of these giants before and said they threatened civilization. Surely you do not wish to let them run rampant now.
I look at Aaron. We have a little bit of experience with attempting to stop previously threatening catastrophes, and it has been something that we follow or have followed in the past, that it's not very useful to risk our lives trying to put out small fires when there's a blazing inferno.
This isn't a fire. This is my family we're talking about.
Right. I'm not referring to that. That is something entirely different, and like I said, there are different methods as opposed to going head on with a bunch of giants to discerning who your people's killers were. If we weren't in this dungeon right now, if I didn't need all of my spells, I might be able to actually scry the owner of that dagger for you, but not in the present. situation?
Present situation is we have seriously depleted powers and resources in this dungeon. On a normal day, fresh, we could probably take on this challenge. At the moment, somebody's going to get killed if we take these guys head on.
Now, like I said, we could make ourselves fresh. Could throw up the spell that would ensure.
These giants clearly have these smaller creatures with them. We know the giants are coming to reclaim the weapons, so these creatures are to come in the dungeons. Could we not funnel them through a narrower point, and thus they would be less of a challenge? I myself do not feel like taking on 3 fire giants, but I can. I'm not as tired as the rest of you.
We indeed have the advantage in that we are now familiar with this ground, and there are traps and dangers that lurk that we could use to our advantage that we've previously passed.
I'm not terribly concerned about the orcs. I don't feel that they are that much of a threat. Whether we take them on by funneling them into the dungeon or let the dungeon take care of them for us, the concern is the 3 fire giants. And Leo, I have witnessed your combat mastery, but I would not put money on you versus 3 giants. My money would be on the giants in that fight.
Your friend would not fight alone.
Surely, we would want to make sure that no one perished in this fight. And the best way to do that would be not to fight foolishly, which would be to fight without recouping our resources.
I can't just run away. If I lose them now, though, I may never find them again.
I'm not saying run away. We're saying
Lure them into the
let's
dungeon.
recuperate a little bit. We can lure the orcs in for you. We can capture some of them. We can find out about the dagger. Then we deal with the giants. The best way of doing that is to recoup ourselves down here in a secure location, and let the orcs come to us.
Well, you are a fighter and slayer of giants.
Oh, yeah.
What can you tell us about fire giants? I myself am unfamiliar with them, but excited to learn more.
Well, fire giants tend to be some of the more bulkier of the group. Not as tall, but quite stocky. And they make a loud bang when they hit the floor.
What do you want to know about them, Gamma?
Oh, I mean, I think they're the bigger danger, and I think there's some concern that one of us may die if we face them in open combat.
Then we don't do that.
So,
I'm only interested in the orc. I think what the drought, Lael said, would be the best plan. The giants can't fit in these tunnels. We lure the orcs in, kill them. I may find what I'm after. If not, then I'm sorry to waste your time, but I can't leave without trying.
It's fine. They're coming down here anyway. This is not going to be an issue. The issue is how are we going to handle it? Are we going to set traps, or are we going to... Liao, what would you want to do with your retainers?
I quite fancy the werewolf room. I'd like to bring them down and put them in there.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of which, I should go do that. I'll meet you by the entrance.
We kind of need you to get out. Well, not me personally, but the rest of the group.
I can't summon Angaste here. I need 10 minutes to summon her. And we don't have any other way of blocking those explosions. So, unless I go to the surface, get my retainers, and summon her on the other side, where there is no explosion, and then ferry you all over.
I guess I don't understand. Why can't you summon Angaste?
I need 10 minutes to summon her. There's only 6 minutes between each explosion.
Okay, so you don't stand by the explosions while you're summoning her. How about
She
that?
won't fit in this tunnel.
Okay, so on the map, if you stand right here...
On the plateau, because it takes 10
That would
minutes.
actually
Won't
be
be there.
covered by the first geyser.
But she won't be there for the full 10 minutes of you doing it. She only does it when she arrives in the last 10 minutes, as long as you time
I'm
it.
going to... Anyway, I'd rather not take the risk. I can only do this one more time today before I won't be able to do it anymore. I'd rather do it from the other side. So I'll go to the surface, get my retainers, and summon her on the other side. Right?
Okay.
It is your steed. We are at your mercy.
That's a spooky thing to say.
As you're all talking to one another about this plan, Lael fiddles with something on her bracelet and just disappears from sight. Lael, you reappear sat on top of your saddle, which has been placed on your bed, just expectantly. Kellen had picked it up and put it on the bed just in case you needed it for any reason. You can see now the little campsite. Your tent is still fully up and prepared. What would you like to do up there?
I'm going to stand up. I'm going to go out of the camp. I'm going to see Alust cooking, and I'm immediately going to go over and pick up her pot and kick out the fire, because I imagine that's probably not a good thing. And I'm going to turn to the three of them and say, pack up immediately. Giants are coming. Don't ask any questions. Just get in the dungeon. I imagine Randall's looking really excited about this. I imagine
Absolutely.
the other two, not so much.
You actually catch Randall run off a little bit away to try and look to see if he can spot the giants coming, and he looks so excited. But then he snaps to, gotta go, and they immediately start work on tearing down the tent, and they do so in 10 minutes.
Excellent.
They've got this practice down to a T. They get the entire tent completely compressed and inside the mouth of the mountain within 10 minutes.
Awesome. And I'm holding soup.
So you're holding soup in one hand, your saddle in the other,
Yep.
or are they packed up your saddle? Okay.
I guess they packed up my saddle. I don't know. Randall's carrying it. That's his job.
Is there anything else you want to do up there at the top before you move down back into
Yes.
the dungeon?
Can I see giants?
Make a perception check for me. 14. You don't see giants, however, you do see the stereotypical forest, trees moving in a line, just, and you are starting to hear some loud thuds getting louder every couple seconds to suggest heavy footfalls.
Righto. Go back inside.
So you do have to coerce them a little bit, but you manage to get Kellen especially down the 100-foot stone rocky steps down to, or iron staircase, down into the dungeon.
Excellent. I threaten him that I will carry him if he doesn't walk himself.
He goes.
Excellent.
Right. You then return back the way you came, the tunnels up towards the platform chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. While she's spending the next 10 minutes, so that's 20 minutes of her time going, while she prepares and summons Angaste on the other side of the chamber, what's everyone else doing?
Gideon's going to be looking quite astounded at her sudden disappearance. He's had an astounded expression for a while now. He's seen Erin transform into a bear. He's seen Taman sprout wings. He's seen Lael vanish. It's all getting to him very much, and he just sort of collapses a little bit against the wall. Truly, it is a strange group I've encountered here.
I was just going to walk past towards the platform chamber and just quickly put a hand on his shoulder as he collapsed and just say, "You're telling me, mate."
Gamma will join that group as one of the three new guys, just a little overawed by all the weirdness that's going on.
As Gamel passes, Lois' tentacle's going to reach out and touch his shoulder to kind of stop him before he goes too far. And then he'll reach into his pack and pull out the boots that are kind of lopsided inside of it. And he hands it to him and says, I have so many magical items, they tend to all fall towards me. You may be able to use I don't know what these do, but you may be able to use one of you three may be able to use this in the next battle if we have the time.
Have you figured out what they do yet, Master Wizard?
I do not have the time.
Were they heavy-looking, light-looking?
They were like springing and running or something, right?
Yeah,
We don't know.
Do they look like
Okay.
they're made out of plates? Do they look like they're made out of leather?
They were like leather with a steel cap, if I remember rightly.
They look like that. But wait a second, as we've lost Leone.
Would Gideon have been able to see Loic's tentacle as he reached it out to stop Gamel?
Yes, you would have.
Well, yeah, his eyes are going to bug out even more at that.
Now, to be clear, the tentacles is that the arm that has two tentacles underneath it, or is that like a third one coming out the back?
No, he's just got the one.
Okay.
Instead of his left arm, he has a tentacle that splits into two at about the elbow.
And it usually wraps around the wrist like a belt, right?
What?
Is that correct?
No.
The tentacle arm, it isn't usually wrapped around the waist?
No, he's very proud of it. He'll just let his freak flag fly whenever he's just walking by. He'll just have it swinging, almost touching the floor.
Okay. I haven't been able to visualize that very well yet.
But the
It
thing
always
is
swings
that
to the left, though.
But the thing is that he's always wrapped up in his giant, fully multi-layered cloak, so it is very difficult to see just passively, because everything on him is just very difficult to see.
Sure.
Now, Owen, you were saying something, but it was very quiet. What were you saying?
I was just basically trying to get an idea whether it's heavy armor, medium armor, or light armor.
The boots?
Yeah.
They seem quite light, actually. When Loic hands these boots over to Gamel, you do sense the usual tingling sensation of a magical item. And in fact, if this happens at the beginning of the time, as soon as Lael disappears, Gamel, you've got time to be able to put them on and attune to them and then practice with them to learn what they do, if you wish.
Well, I still need to attune to Whelm. I've only had it in my hand for a minute. So I think what I'll do is I'll go over to Gideon and Owen, just say, Master Loic doesn't have time to identify these. They may be useful. I have this sweet hammer. Whelm, is that a fair description?
Definitely sweet.
Definitely sweet. So if one of you two would care to use these, I haven't a clue what they are, but they're magic. Oh, Whelm, do you know what these are?
I don't really have eyes, so to speak, but they look like boots.
All right, so here's some boots, Gideon. Owen, good luck.
Gideon's gonna sort of gesture with his head for Owen to take them.
Well, they do look quite comfortable. So then he takes them.
Okay, you're slipping them on your feet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the moment you do put them on, you do feel that they start to shift and become the most comfortable boots you have ever worn. They kind of mold to your feet and really feel very flexible and very powerful.
Wow.
In the meantime, Gideon's eyes are going to stray back to a person that he's been looking at for quite some time on and off, and he's going to focus on Taman. And he's actually going to approach him at this point. I must ask, are you a brother? Your wings, I don't understand.
As far as I know, I'm an only child. I was an orphan when I grew up on the streets of Neverwinter, so I don't think I am a brother. The wings, I came by them in an unusual circumstance. I found myself in between realms, and when I returned to this one, the wings followed me. I know that I can use them in a limited faculty.
For reference, Gideon's wings, when you saw them, I forgot to mention at the time, will have appeared black rather than white. So there's that. But he's going to look to you. You say you were between worlds? Where was this place? Surely I would have remembered.
Our group, some of them with us now and some of us no longer with us, were in the Underdark. And I was in a wizard's tower, and suddenly I was no longer there. I was somewhere else in a formless, shapeless land with no landmarks, where time ceased to exist. I was told how long I was there, but I had no sense of how long I was there. I did, at one point, have an encounter with a child, and then that child was actually the goddess that I worship, Goddess Eldath, the green goddess of nature. And she told me that my work wasn't done, and she touched me, and I returned back into the Underdark in another place to greet my friends again. And that's all I know.
So you are not one of the brethren, then? Forgive me, this is all rather a bit much.
Where'd you get your wings from? Was it in a similar circumstance?
I have always had them, though they were once far more resplendent than what you have seen.
Is that why you hesitated? You paused when we were fighting those statues.
I saw this child's wings. I had thought perhaps one of my brothers was here. Though why they would be, I cannot say.
Do your brothers go by another name?
They go by
Less
many
cryptic.
names. They are the brethren. There are many of us.
You know, like all of you as a group, what would you be categorized as in the giant catalog of entities in all the planes? What are you guys called?
We knew ourselves as the brethren. We were spirits in service to the lady. We are.
What lady?
I do not know if you will know of her in this place. She goes by the name Dol Ara. She's the Lady of Light.
Do you remember what your home was called?
My home was not so home as you would think of it. The lady was tied to a world similar to this one, but different in many ways.
Do you remember what that's called?
Yes, of course. It was Eberron.
Repeat that?
It was Eberron.
Eberron.
Yes.
Have I heard of Eberron?
Make a history check. Okay, Loic, it's one thing to travel between planes, because you've done that. You've traveled to the astral plane. You can see into the ethereal plane whenever you choose to. It's a completely different thing to travel to an entirely different realm. Eberron you've heard of because a few, very few scholars have managed to do it, but the information you have on Eberron is very limited.
I'd say right now it's being treated like a place of fiction, like a fairy tale land or something.
Yeah, that's more or less what it is. You know that someone has mentioned a long time ago that they traveled to Eberron and back, but you've never seen real evidence of it. You've never really heard much about what's out there, but you know it does exist.
I'm gonna raise my eyebrow at him and be like, "Nuh-uh, I don't believe you. You read that somewhere."
I speak the truth. I mean, it was rare that we interceded in the realm of Eberron itself. We existed outside of it, but it was the lady's land. It was her home, her realm, her people.
I'm just gonna eye him scrupulously and be silent.
Would you like to make an insight check?
No, because I know that he's telling the truth
Okay.
as a player, and so I wouldn't glean anything from that.
Fair enough. Alright, by now, Owen, you've been kind of stretching, you've been jumping up and down, moving your ankles, trying to get a feel for what these things can do, and by now you will have attuned to them and learned their basic properties, which are your speed is minimum 30, you're not encumbered by heavy armor or anything like that, your jumping speed is tripled, I believe that's it. And by the same regards, Gamel, you have kind of gotten an idea of Whelm. He has been telepathically explaining to you pretty much everything he can do, because he wants to be wielded. And you get this sense from him that he wants the glory and honor of true combat. And he hopes that you can wield him properly so that he can do so.
And we will do so. I'll need some practice. It's been a while since I've used a warhammer, but I'm all about glory.
At which point, Lael, you are starting to finish your summoning ritual, and Angaste appears before you in the open platform just in front of this huge chamber. And it happens just after the geyser has gone off.
Right, well, I'm going to put my saddle on her, so I don't have to worry about falling off or anything. I'm going to shout across. Are we coming over, or am I bringing you back?
That's a good point. We do need to take care of that fellow in the statue that we swore to take care of. And there are more traps that way for the enemy to fall into than this direction.
I think defensively we're better off. At least if they have to go through the place where they are, where the metal burns, defensively we can hit them hard at that point before they can put anything back on, or it's going to scorch them. We can even lure them through.
If there's any clues to be found, I can't have them in an area I can't reach.
You can reach. You can shoot them down the alleyway and bring them towards us.
If I need
And they'll
to,
burn that fire.
what if I need to search the bodies?
We might be able to save one.
He's going to sort of contemplate the idea. In the meantime, he's actually just going to look across the platforms and just, without moving his eyes, just going to say, look, I appreciate your help. I know you don't have to do this.
It's fine, lad. It's not a problem. They're coming for all of us. We can help you out what we're doing. I had a similar issue when I was your age. I understand where you're going to.
Owen sort of glances at him, and his eyes are shimmering a little bit, but he sort of takes another breath and nods, and he starts towards the platforms.
Twitch Gamma will interject. So just think, if things work out for you like they worked out for him, you'll be a werebear soon.
I don't really think that's what I want in life, but thanks all the same, Master Gamma.
Layla, I think you need to come get us, and we'll take the orcs in the other tunnels.
Let's see. Grab my rope. Get on Gargaste. I imagine by now the second guise has exploded.
Just as before, you time your motion just right with on top of Angaste, moving across the wall as she climbs step by step along. You wait, big explosion goes off, and then you keep moving and you make it across. You're able to get 2 people on the back with you. Who's jumping on the back first?
Gamma will.
And Owen might as well. He's going to try his luck, but this will be easier.
Cool.
Gamel and Owen in tow. You head back. You do that trip a couple times. You time it right, just as you did before, and you move everyone back across the chamber.
While everybody's moving, Owen's just going to... so when they hit the ground on the other side, Owen's just going to kind of call across and say, I've got to go see what we're up against. I'll be back soon. And he's actually going to go ahead make his way towards the entrance.
Okay.
So you're headed all the way back to the entrance? Aaron?
Did you do that as soon as you left?
Yeah.
As soon as you headed?
Yeah, he's just sort of skipped off.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
Aaron was going to instinctively, Aaron's going to do the same thing and just fly in sync with her in case anything onto a board happens. But no, seriously.
So, Owen, ever eager, running towards the entrance. What are you doing when you get there?
He's going to basically do some scouting. He's going to go to the entrance. He's going to use primeval awareness to obviously get an idea of where his enemies are, and basically just take watch. Maybe move forward a little bit out from the entrance, but be very, very cautious. He'll be moving stealthily, basically.
How far is your primeval awareness range?
5 miles.
5 miles. Okay. At this point, you don't sense them within 5 miles.
Okay, he's basically going to move out into the wilderness slightly until he does sense them.
Okay. You travel 10 miles away from the entrance to the cave before you even sense them.
Okay.
But if you're doing that at a average travel speed, which is 3 miles an hour, it takes you 3 hours to do so.
I think Natural Explorer says you ignore difficult terrain, and it doesn't slow my travel, even when it's stealthy.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, a normal day's travel is 24 miles of 8 hours worth of traveling. So 3 miles per hour, you start heading out.
So that is normal pace, yeah.
Yeah, it's normal pace. You head out an hour and a half-ish before they get even close enough for your primeval awareness. If that's actually what you're doing, everyone else, you see him run off, and you don't see him for another hour and a half.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
While he's doing that, you guys are setting up traps?
Taman will travel far enough towards the entrance till he's back in range of Riker, and he tells Riker to keep an eye on Owen.
you'll get regular updates from Riker, but he has to go out to see and then come back to get close enough to communicate with you. And each time he communicates back to you what's going on, it takes longer for him to come back and return. So you're guessing that Owen is moving quite far away.
Gideon's going to look quite alarmed as time starts going on that Owen hasn't come back at this point.
Am I even doing the hut anymore? Looks very confused.
That's a first.
I think we're going to take the orcs and then reconvene regarding hut shenanigans.
Okay. I'll stand in the back.
Alust raises her hand and she goes, I have dinner if anyone is interested. It's not much, it's just pea and ham soup.
Heck yeah! Go walking over to it.
To be fair, Chloe, remind me about this hut. Can we walk in and out of this once you've raised it?
Only if you're standing next to me when I do raise it initially. Yeah.
So we'd have to have Owen here too.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right.
So he stuffs his mouth.
Okay. Alright, we're going to set some traps.
How deep in are we going? And where
Which
are we
tunnel
going?
are you going?
Yeah.
We're going down
So-
the metal tunnel, the metal trap tunnel, and we could probably go to the room where the zombies were, if we wanted.
We do have unfinished business with the one we left behind.
Surely you do not seek to kill him.
I made
It
him
would
a
be a-
promise.
It would be at mercy. It was his request.
How can it be a mercy to rob a man of his life?
Because the man's life has already been robbed.
There is still
It
a
would-
chance to free him.
We are granting him his afterlife, a release from this mortal coil.
Trust me, I've been. It's not that bad.
I cannot be a party to this.
He'll probably go somewhere real nice where he gets cake and flowers from sexy ladies all day.
I have seen the places where a mortal soul might tread. I only hope he's lived a life worth living. That
If he
might
doesn't
grant some
think he's lived
peace.
a life worth living, I can send him to nowhere. That's what he wants.
Okay, but so that is the tunnel we're heading down towards.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to
So-
figure out what tunnel that is.
The
far
leftmost tunnel
Yeah.
where you had met Black Razor. So over that time, you all do what you did before. Now, Lael,
Yeah.
for you to head down that path,
Yeah.
are you taking off your armor?
Yes, I have my retainers. I've got no problem with this now. I stretch out my arms. And I let them undress me.
Okay.
Down to my what's it called? My doublet that it all gets tied
Or
to.
your padding?
Yeah, or my padding.
Gamberson, I think.
Yes, that's it.
So now, this time around, everyone removes anything metal from them and puts it in the bag of holding, I'm assuming, which is quite a lot of weight now, especially with Lael's armor being added to it.
I can do
And-
trips.
Yeah, true. You can do trips. So you move across, you get back into the area that you have picked for your ambush. Which section is that going to be? Are you going where the ghouls were, or are you heading further in? Or are you going to deal with the man first?
At the super tetanus.
I would like to deal with the fellow first.
Yeah,
So-
my honest opinion is we don't deal. To get over the super tetanus, we need to have the rope in place. We lower the rope, then somebody's got to go back over and reattach the rope, and we're causing ourselves some
I
problems.
still
Sorry.
have Augusta.
And Gusty can travel on the walls.
Yeah, and ceiling.
Could she fit down the tunnels that we left the mud pit in?
Yeah, just about.
I would say before you send Ngaste over there, remember there is an anti-magic zone. I don't know how that would interact with Ngaste.
She's
Ah,
a southern
good question.
creature.
There's only one way to find out.
I'm gonna stay here, just in case they're faster than we think they are, or there's some kind of surprise.
Well, Aaron's he's gonna stay clothed, and he's just gonna give the hat bag of holding, let somebody take it over, and then bring it back to him, empty the stuff out, because he's gonna have to wait for Owen now to come back and get him across. So Aaron will stay. Probably what I'll do is Aaron will take off most of his gear, but keep Black Razor out and wait for Owen to get across, so we can, if we have to do a sharpish, I can just put Black Razor into the bag and then run across. If that makes sense.
Now, did you guys tear down the rope you had put up before? Because you had been planning to come back to get him, so you didn't tear it down. You're able to climb over the rope and return through the passageways. Now done it enough times that you're familiar with everything, and you find yourself back in the room where the statues had come back to life. As you're stepping through, who is actually stepping into that room?
Gideon's definitely not going. He's going to hover around near the room with the metal plates and everything. He's very uncomfortable with this.
Okay.
Gamble will go in via the back entrance because he specifically promised that they'd either kill the wizard or end this guy. We really don't want to go in alone, though.
Taemon's coming with.
Okay.
Dale's not going.
Alright, so the two of you head on in, and as you step over the threshold into this room, you start seeing his stiff body relax a little bit, and he's actually, the statue as you step into the room, is actually huddled in the corner in the fetal position.
He's still covered in a net, right?
No, you took that off him to be threatened. No.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, you left the net on top of him, so he's underneath the net in the fetal position, and he starts coming to and stretching out. Is it done? Am I free?
Taemon makes his way across, or underneath the water, right? He can walk underneath it.
Yep.
I'm sorry, friend. The Mad Wizard is not in this dungeon. We don't know where he is, so we don't have the means to end your suffering, other than the final means, which is to end your life.
Do you wish to go with a bang or a whimper?
I wish to go out with honor.
There are a variety of orcs coming this way, and if you wish to fight and make a last stand, you can die on your feet, or there are honorable deaths that we can perform now.
Make it clean, make it quick, and do it by your hand, someone who has bested me well.
Gamel's gonna go behind and just club him in the head, knock him out.
Whack him, and he falls to the ground. He didn't have barely any health remaining as it stands, and his body just seems to go lifeless as it hits the ground.
Taemin, do you have any funeral rites? He seemed worthy of whatever you might have.
I'm not that kind of cleric. And then, with that, he takes a moment of silence and just walks away.
Is there a kayak still floating by on this river?
There are three. They're still going, and a little paper one.
Right.
Did you put fourth one up? Okay, so there's four now circulating with a paper one in between one of them.
As one goes past, I'm going to pull it down, and Taemin, help me out here. We're going to put him in it and lay him down, in the correct way. There's swords and nets and stuff around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So put him to rest, kind of Viking funeral style, and then load him back up on the current to ride forever.
Nice.
On the eternal log flume.
The eternal log flume.
This NPC statue's got a far better funeral than my player characters do. It's great.
Satisfied with your work, do you wait for him to return once in the circle, or do you just leave while he's disappeared out the corner?
Were we going to set up the hut here or down in the terrarium aquarium mix?
We don't know yet. Got to kill the orcs and then have another discussion.
Well, let's head back to the super tetanus pit.
Okay. So you make your way back, go over the ropes, get back to the rest of the group. Meanwhile, in the wilderness on the edge of the mountain, Owen, you're standing up scouting, trying to get a lay of the land, try and see what's going on. You're pushing out your senses, and you just now catch they're here. 6 humanoids, because that's your favorite enemy, correct? Yeah. 6 humanoids, all headed this way. rather quick pace, actually. Almost like they're being pushed on, like forcefully marched towards you. You can't quite see them because they're still within trees and around behind rocks and things. This is 5 miles away, but you can sense them.
Right, okay. Owen's going to lead them on, basically. He's going to keep them just at the edge of his senses, keep an idea of where they're going. I'm assuming that as time goes on, it'll become clear they're moving towards the dungeon.
Yes. As you get closer to the entrance of the dungeon, you notice that they're staying behind you.
Okay. In that case, he's going to, if it's quite clear they're heading for the dungeon, he's going to go back inside when he finally reaches the entrance again.
Okay. You manage to get back after now 2 hours worth of travel time there and back. Coming back was a little bit quicker because they're actually traveling at a very quick pace. But when you reach back, they are 5 miles away, which you can guess is about an hour. Yes, Lael?
With Owen's time gone, would that be enough time to have a short rest?
Yes, everyone can have had a short rest.
Except for Owen.
Except for Owen.
He's still got arrows. He's fine. So yeah. If it's absolutely 100% clear that they're heading towards the dungeon, he's going to go. He's going to make his way inside and go back down the staircase and encounter Aaron at the entrance.
Where you been, lad?
I've been tracking them. 6 orcs, or ogres. I couldn't get a clear sense of exactly what they were, but they are 6 of them, heading right this way. They must know what's lying in here.
It was a bit reckless to go out there by yourself. You could have waited, I would have gone with you.
It's fine, I was careful.
So be it, but it's a mighty force. Doesn't matter now. Come on. We're going to try and set an ambush further into the tunnels.
Okay.
But I'm going to lead him back to the area. Let's take our stuff off, and then...
Before you do that, he's just going to kind of look at the plates, and he says, like, what's to stop them just turning back and running away if they feel themselves getting hot? We did.
They're orcs. You shoot them a few times, they'll be enraged enough to come across him.
They might be animals, but they're not just mindless beasts. There's a cunning about them. How about... maybe there's a way for me to lead them? And he just sort of looks down to Black Rays and says, you and that sword of yours, I dare say you could make short work of a half a dozen orcs hitting them from behind. Why don't we wait? Why don't we hide and hit them from the rear?
Because we don't know which path they're going to come down.
Why don't I lead them down here? You hide just down one of the other tunnels. Maybe in that place that little alcove where they had the drain. Once you hear them pass, stalk them.
I'd rather do this in a group, Owen. I've learned many times that doing things on your own will get you killed. You have friends here, you need to rely on them. We can do this and we can get these orcs dead.
And I am relying on you. I'm relying on you to kill them if I lead them up there.
I don't want to do this without anybody else, with the rest of the group being left down this tunnel.
He just sort of has a sullen look, but he just nods slowly, says, alright. What's the plan then?
You get across here. I'll lead them down this tunnel and make sure they follow me. I don't need to wear the armour, I can stay in my wolf form.
He's got my arrows. Oh, sorry, he hasn't actually given anything yet, has he? No, okay. That's fine, so you're going to carry my arrows?
Yeah, I'll put everything in the bag of holding, and then we'll walk across. We'll discuss with the others exactly what we've got to do by now. So I'll then take up some bits and walk across. Me herding them in from behind isn't such a bad idea, but I want to make sure that the rest of the guys here can do something.
I'll go with you. I want to make sure none of these bastards escapes.
If we wish to hit them from behind, we might hide in this spare room next to the metal wall trap, disguise the doorway, and if they walk past us, we can confront them between here and the frictionless pit.
Sorry, this room is occupied by my retainers, and I will not have fighting in there.
Sorry. Which room do you think?
Stick him in there.
Well, that's where we're going to come out of. We're not going to fight.
I'm going to stand in the main room. I'm not going up behind them.
Owen's just going to kind of motion to Aaron to give him his arrows, his equipment back. He says, "Look, I stand at the end of this passageway. I can hit a bird on the wing at 600 paces."
I've got two schools of thought here. We can either provoke them and get them to rush us down this corridor, and before they even know what trouble they're in with the heat, we're going to pick them apart while they're in the tunnel. Or we let them try and figure out for themselves and try and traverse this non-magically, hopefully, and they'll be stripped of all their armor and all their belongings just to get across this path, and we can take them down easily from behind. Now, they're here for the weapons. If Loic was to put Wave in visual at the end of this corridor for them to look at, they would come down here.
Why don't we use Whelm instead?
Oh,
For
well.
that?
I'm up for it.
I agree. We need a compelling reason for them to come in this direction versus the other directions.
There's two schools. I can go down there and I can get them to follow me in my wolf form. I don't need to wear my armor. I can get down here and be effective in my bear form.
I was sitting there going, when did he become a wolf?
Full bug.
My zebra form.
I can be a hybrid, and I don't need the armor to protect me. I can leave it in the thingy, but in the bag of holding. So I can do it that way, or we can let them try and get down here naturally and then see it, and then tent themselves down here themselves. But that's what they're here for. They won't come down here empty-handed.
I'm more confident in our ambush if we can definitely ensure that they'll be coming down this direction. So I'm all for you leading them to us. I don't know that a hammer sitting out in the open would be as tempting.
Okay.
Even though they're ostensibly here to get a weapon or two or three. I don't know that would be enough. But if you were to lead them, I think that would be a good idea. But they're likely also to have the ability to make ranged attacks. So standing at one end of the corridor and shooting them, well, it would be a good idea to soften them up, but I wouldn't count on just staying there and letting them shoot at you.
That wasn't the plan. I merely meant it to lure them. I know a little bit of Orkese as well. I'm sure I can insult their mothers or something.
I don't like this room.
Very loudly, Whelm shouts, it's like, "You're all taking too long. Look, I've got an idea. Just listen to me. Okay. We smash the other tunnels.
Ah,
They all come down this one. We have a jolly fight, and I get to kill something.
Can you do that? Smash tunnels, I mean?
You've never seen a dwarven hammer at work, have you?
No, I mean, I've seen a dwarf, maybe a few merchants, but not really, no.
Maestro, think you could do it?
I can do it, if that seems like the good idea. Is there a giant crab still that we need to worry about?
I don't think we need to worry about them.
Yeah, I honestly don't fancy them going into that chamber and flooding this whole passageway.
All right. If someone wants to come with me to make sure I don't get jumped from behind, let's go smash some hallways.
I'll come with you.
We'll do the whole rigmarole of dumping gear. Actually, I'm going to leave my gear here and just take Whelm.
Yeah, Owen's gonna leave his
like if I have to run, I'm just running right back here. I'm not going to do the take everything off, put everything on again routine.
As soon as Gamel's gone, I'm gonna go poke his gun.
As
Excellent.
they're
Gamel, was it loaded?
Doesn't matter. I've seen how
Yes.
you use it. I know which end not to point at
Yes,
myself.
I would have reloaded it after the last bit. So there's a musket and a pistol with 4 shots in it.
is the safety on?
there is no
They
safety.
do
for
not
those.
have a safety. They're not that advanced.
Are you poking it just to kind of test it out and see how it works, Loic?
Yeah, but very gently. I'm not going to actually cause any force on any single part to make anything happen. I'm just
Right.
gonna wiggle the hammer a little bit, wiggle the barrel a little bit,
Sniff
check
it.
out where it loads the ammo, pull out the ammo, check out the ammo itself, load it back in, whatever.
Roll.
Gideon's
Roll.
Make an
Roll.
investigation.
there we
Quick
go.
hits.
Do what?
It's not a
Make-
clip.
Alright, make an investigation check as you start playing around with it. Meanwhile, Gamel, you head back with Whelm in hand. If anyone's going with him, you see Whelm almost start giggling, like excited to hit something. And Gamel, you feel your arm just almost being moved by him, and you've hit those walls with powerful slams. The rocks immediately start to shake and shift, and you can smash down both of the corridors, bringing all of the roof and everything down.
We'll smash a little further into each corridor. I don't want to accidentally cause a cave-in that blocks our exit.
In the
so it's a little bit
meantime, just while he's doing that, Owen's just gonna say to him, "Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was so quiet when we first met, Master Dwarf. I didn't really expect to meet anybody up here."
Something unusual is certainly afoot. Bang, 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 smash, smash. I certainly thought to be here alone as well, and to have so many arrive at the same time, and then to have orcs and giants immediately thereafter. Something is afoot, so I'd recommend caution, lad. Clearly, some of these, our new compatriots, have more experience than us, but whatever's happening, there's something bigger happening here that we're not aware of. So don't get killed before we figure out what that is.
There's only one thing I'm here for, with respect, Master Gamel, but I'll keep your words in mind. One question, though. Has it been a
Bang,
good,
bang, bang. Go ahead. Smash, smash. It's a club.
has this been a good test for your weapons?
They certainly seem to work the way they're supposed to, so I'm quite pleased about them, and whatever forging or reforging I need to do, I think with Whelm here, that shouldn't be a problem.
Mm.
Isn't that right, my new friend?
Oh, yeah.
Those stringless bows that you've got that bang, I mean, they pack a punch, but not very quiet. How are you supposed to hunt with them?
Well, certainly they pack a punch, but you give up the stealth. You hunt by shooting once, and not needing to shoot more than that. So certainly these will not replace a bow or a crossbow. They have a particular use, and I value your expertise with the bow. It accomplishes things I don't think anyone else that I've seen here could do.
Thanks, Master Dwarf.
Although if you are interested, as it's still working, I have done some experimentation with crossbow bolt ammunition, different kinds of heads, things like that we could maybe apply to your arrows if you in the future were interested in widening your arsenal.
Well, yeah. I mean, anything that you think could help. I mean, you clearly know your onions.
Well, I just always tinker with some things, and I have some bolt heads lying around that we could try some stuff with. So, if we get out of here alive, we'll give that a shot.
If we get out of here alive, he says with a nod. In the meantime, by the way, he's been still has his primeval senses, if I take it.
They are now 2 miles away.
He just sort of touches Gamel lightly on the shoulder, and he says, "They're getting nearer. We don't have much time."
Well, with the walls down, Gamel wipes a slight sheen of sweat, slings Whelm over his shoulder, workman style, and says, "I think we're done here. Let's go lay our trap."
Taman, what's Riker doing right now?
He should be near the entrance, reporting back to me the movements of the giants.
So you know that the giants are getting close. He's seen 2 miles away.
And I communicate that with everyone else in our murder room.
Gideon, meanwhile, is going to watch Loic start messing around with his gun and just raise a very curious eyebrow as he starts fiddling. Have you not seen such a device before?
I have not. I have seen devices that attempt to do the same thing, but not to this degree.
This world is more archaic than I believed.
You're archaic.
He
Oh,
laughed a little bit at that. Child, you know not of what you speak.
my retainer set up camp with a fire when they were on the surface, so they're going to know someone's in here, if they're smart enough. Oh, by the way, this is Kellen, my steward, Alust, my priestess, and Reginald Lightwood. Ronald. Oh, I'm tired. Lightwood the Third.
Randall.
Randall Lightwood the Third. I'm not good with human boy names.
Gideon gives a low bow to them all. The lady's blessings be upon your children.
Another drow? He sort of, Owen sort of says when he looks at Alust, but he quickly just sort of like looks aside, a bit embarrassed that he had the reaction.
So, what kind of defenses are you planning? What kind of arrangements as the things are getting close?
I have some oil for a flask of oil for a lantern. I also have some torches. I'm saying this to everyone as I'm pulling them out of my belongings. I have some cloth. You can have this. I don't like this dress anymore. Let's see what else I have.
Who did you say that to?
I'm just speaking to all of them.
And Aluste would have grabbed it and put it back inside another of your bags. Like, she'll use it later.
That oil might be useful. We could put it at the other end, just when they arrive, and I could fire a hailfire shot down there and light it up.
A bag of sand. I don't know why I have this.
Stop paying attention. Aaron's going to grab the oil and take it down to the other end.
Okay.
Everyone's in now. Can I pour the oil on this square?
Yeah.
If I was to fire a hailfire shot at something in this square, it has a 5 feet radius. Would that be enough to ignite it, in my knowledge?
Yeah, make a intelligence-based check. Any intelligence-based check.
I have 2
As long
oil
as it
flasks.
would make sense. Okay.
I found another one! Well,
While you're thinking about what you could do, you do figure just a normal shot with an arrow with an iron head shot through the metal would heat up the metal to a point where it would ignite the oil itself.
Yeah, cool.
So you could do that without even needing to use the hailfire effect.
Yeah, can Owen do the same, I take it?
He would have to be investigating and figuring that kind of thing out.
I'll wait for somebody to suggest it.
I also have this.
Aaron's already said he's going to pour the oil down at the other end and ignite it.
I also have this. It's a ever-smoking bottle.
Hey, Taman, you remember how we were talking earlier about the hut and teleportation and how I have no arcane energy left in me, or hardly any? Just so somebody else in here knows, it'll take me 10 minutes to erect the hut, so if we're not far away enough from the entrance and the giants, then we should just hope, I guess, that the entire tunnel doesn't collapse on us under their feet. And I just wanted someone to know that.
I think you'll be fine in here, shooting off your fire bolts or whatever cantrips you have. As a fallback, we can run up the stairs and across the rope and cut the rope. So we shouldn't have anything to worry about if, for whatever reason, the 6 orcs overwhelm us. We should be able to retreat into the safety of the super tetanus trap.
I nod as my head sort of falls submissively.
Stay behind me, child. I will protect you, and the lady shall protect us.
I'm sorry, was that?
Yes.
You talking to me, Mr. Angel?
He gives you a nod.
Okay. Yes, you
he
protect me.
looks...
You stand there and you protect me with your life.
That is my purpose, child.
Great.
Aaron?
Yep.
The floor, is this, we talked about this, is this brick, or is this stone, or is this earth dug out?
It is stone. It is very clean cut, finely grinded stone. So, by all of this preparation being done, Gamel, where are you going to be? Because right now you're...
I was wondering if the conversation about the gun and everything had happened while we were still smashing down walls.
Yes, it would have.
Right. I'll just be back with the other ranged guys, loading up my musket.
You want to be in front of us? Because you're slightly shorter. And we can get a good line down there.
Or are we going to hide to the sides and then spring out and shoot all at once?
I want to give them a target. I want them to know we're shooting at them.
Yeah, plus I
Well,
got a range of
Well, in that case, you can be the target, and I'll step into place, shoot, and then back out.
It's only like the idea we get in a good volley and then we spread to the sides. I want them to know that there's a couple of us down here, and then hopefully they'll rush in, and then we can finish them off.
Owen's going to nod down his goggles, Sam Fisher style, and take up his bow. He looks so deadly serious, like nobody's actually seen him like this before, psyching himself up.
Taman, Riker relays to you that they're at the entrance now. The 3 larger creatures are shouting orders at the smaller ones, whipping them a little bit, and all 6 have now headed into the dungeon.
Owen's going to shout. He's can Owen sense this as well with primeval senses how close they are?
You know they're close, but you can't tell that they're coming down the entrance. You just know that they are that distance away from you, at the entrance to the tunnel.
Okay, sorry then. Yeah, ignore me.
I dismiss Riker, and I share the information with everyone else. The giants stay above, and the orcs are entering the dungeon.
I'm going to shout in perfect orcish. Oi! Come and get us, you ugly sons of pigs!
I'm gonna go prone and be hidden.
Gideon's going to reach for his holy symbol and utter a quick prayer in Celestial.
Lael, would you like to take a flanking position on the other side of the door?
What time of day is it outside, if I may ask?
It is late evening.
Thank you.
You guys have been down here for now about 9 hours. 10 almost. You all see the orcs now start to crest around the corner heading down this tunnel. They've not started heading down the tunnel yet, but they do look down, and from their vantage point they can see Owen, Gamel, and Aaron in the back. And they're just looking at you. They talk amongst themselves ever so slightly. Can anyone speak?
I guess.
I just had a quick look. Orcs actually speak Dwarven, it says here. Or, no, that's written language, isn't it?
I can speak Goblin, which I think orcs speak.
So these orcs are speaking orc.
Yeah.
If you don't speak orc, you don't understand what they're saying.
Okay, yeah, I do.
You do speak orc?
Yes, it's part of my favoured enemy.
Okay. You do hear, as they're coming down the tunnel, a lot of grunting and annoyances. One of them complaining that maybe if they can claim these items, they can take over the giants, stop being enslaved to them. One in particular says he's sick of working for the giants, but we have no choice. And that's when they pop around the corner and they see you, and they draw their weapons and they start heading down the tunnel.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot one of them.
Aaron's going to fire to miss and ignite the flame behind.
Owen's going to shout, Other Kirvid, these weapons come now them. Other Duke's sons irrequired. So if you want these weapons, come and get them, you ugly sons of whores.
Okay. Gamel, take your shot.
I'd love to know where you find these translations.
Very quickly.
I am using the grit for
Advantage.
advantage.
Okay, you managed to hit 2 of them separately. Roll damage. Okay. You do hit cleanly on the one that's at the front. He jolts back a little bit in shock, confusion, and just starts charging in, at which point Aaron fires his bow and the entire section just erupts into flames. They all take a bunch of fire damage. So they can make their saves. Probably not. Yeah. They all immediately erupt into flames themselves, and to get away from it they decide to run into the tunnel, which they start slowing down, and you notice that those that have come that right at the front actually fall dead from the heat of everything and the flames that were on them. The rest still continue moving forward. They're pretty weak, but they do manage to get closer to you all. You all see these orcs just start charging through, but as they're running through, their weapons start to get hotter and hotter, and you can see steam coming off of their hands, and the first couple actually drop their weapons, and they're just confused about what's going on, and the heat just starts to burn away at their flesh, and the first two actually crumple down and die while in mid-run in front of everyone. The last two just about manage to make it to the edge, but they're looking extremely weak, and they just swipe a sword almost haphazardly at Lael, missing completely. What are you guys doing as they get to this point?
Gideon's going to attempt to knock the weapons out of their hands, if that's possible, with his halberd.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an attack. Just for the sake of it, what's the damage? I want to see how powerful this attack is. Okay. The one next to you, you swing down the halberd and his weapon immediately drops to the ground. He has been disarmed. Anything else anyone's doing as they approach the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, Owen's going to take a shot with a Heartbreaker.
That will hit and kill.
And for the next orc, using the Heartbreaker. It's more like it.
There you go.
Will also hit and kill. His body slumps over. He's in mid-motion. You hit him and he just falls down out into the area for you all, almost sliding forward.
He's just going to have almost a snarl on his face beneath the goggles.
What do you want to do? The orcs, all 6 of them charged down. You know that they're the only ones that entered into the tunnel, but none of them made it past this one simple trap.
Is that all of them then,
No.
yeah? Sorry, go on.
Knowing Owen wanted answers from these orcs, and now they're dead, so they can't talk. I'll hazard to investigate the bodies to see if I can find anything having to do with culture or location or clan.
Owen
Okay,
too is
roll an
going
investigation check.
Yeah, Owen's going to just stride forward, as a matter of fact, and search the nearest bodies.
Loic, very quickly you notice that the orc that had managed to just about get out to the front, as well as all the other damage he had taken, he took a lot of damage from a silver chain that was around his neck that had just heated up white hot, and it's almost glowing. The chain is glowing, but the pendant that's on the chain doesn't seem to be glowing at all, almost as if it's not hot.
I'm gonna look down at it and see what the pendant is.
At this point, as Loic goes and looks at it, Owen, you also see the same thing. You recognize this pendant. This is actually something your father kept on him. It was a locket that belonged to your mother.
Owen just stares, shocked, quite catatonic, at the locket.
Do you recognize this?
That was my father's most prized possession. That belonged to my mother. He just sort of looks at the others and says, "These must be the ones."
So could I tell from their bodies anything about their clans?
You've studied orcs, and you know a couple of the tribes that are in this area particularly.
Remember, there might not have been in our world, but I'm pretty sure that it's involved in my backstory. We had the big old orc war not long ago.
These ones seem to have been stripped of all identification of a previous tribe, and they in fact have a lot of slave markings kept on them. One of them, further down the line, still has markings of shackles that were around his wrist and neck. They appear to have been taken from whatever tribe they were in and enslaved by, you can only assume, the giants.
And they look like they've had all this stuff on them for weeks, longer than the death of his parents. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll explain to Owen the situation there.
I don't understand it. If they weren't acting on their own, he just sort of falls. He's just gonna kind of wander to the side of the room and slump down and clasp the hand to his head, and is just It's like, I don't understand. What with the giants? I mean, my father was just a simple hunter.
Did you guys happen to have any family heirlooms that could have possibly been magical artifacts you didn't know about?
No, nothing. It was just me and my father living out in the woods.
What of your mother, child? Well, Gideon's took a very protective stance over Owen, just sort of stood at his side. It's almost like he would embrace him normally, but he looks very uncomfortable about broaching that.
She was just a peasant woman from the local village, from Tom's Watch. Nothing about this makes sense.
Has she passed, child? Or does she yet live?
She died when I was born. It's just been me and my father my whole life. But we never made any enemies. I mean, we had the odd orc attack on the village, but who doesn't? I just don't understand it.
Perhaps the giants who have brought these creatures here may possess more answers.
The pendant that's still white hot, glowing on the orc?
The chain is glowing white hot. The pendant itself,
Right.
the actual thing,
Right.
isn't.
What's that made out of? Does it look like it's made out of metal?
It looks like it should be made out of metal. It looks silver, so it seems like it should have heated up, but for some reason, that part of the locket, the pendant, didn't heat up.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna do my magic sensory thing on it.
Make an Arcana check. 31. You start looking at it, kind of sensing the magic that's coming off of it. There is actually a faint, an interesting bit of magic that's coming off of it. It almost seems to be a preservation type magic that seems to be protecting it from everything.
Well, that's interesting. This thing is magical, so perhaps if you didn't know that this was magical, you didn't know what else your parents had that was magical laying around. It could be possible that they were targeted for what they have.
I was going to just climb up and wander over to the body and investigate the chain. I didn't know anything about any of this, but I can't just leave. I just can't leave it like this. I've got to know what happened. I've got to know why my father was killed.
The major question here is, why are giants collecting magical objects?
Indeed.
Owen just sort of shoulders his bow and looks resolutely between Lael and Loic and says, "Whatever's happening, it must have led to the death of my father. I need to avenge him. I will go with you if you'll allow it."
I just shrug at him. Free world.
Does anyone speak giant? There are 3 giants outside, and we can ask them.
Whelm speaks giant.
I could talk to him. Right in the face.
Well, why I think you would be able to communicate well with them, I would worry about your diplomacy. And this is me, a drow, speaking about diplomacy.
Exactly. What's more diplomatic than death? I mean, we can go in, kill them, and then talk to them.
No, usually dead things don't talk.
Well, hang on
Unless
now.
you're a cleric.
Owen just looks towards this thing, towards the orc at his feet, and just says, "This thing talks well enough. Can he actually get the amulet now as it's starting to cool down?"
Yeah, you can pull it off.
Yeah, he's
You
gonna
look over the pendant. It's actually quite a thick one, thick silver pendant with a little clip on the side, and you click it open, and inside is a perfectly preserved image of your mother on one side of this pendant, and on the other a note that was written in her handwriting. Your father showed it to you a bunch of times, telling you that just says, "I love you." But this pendant seems to, like the inside of it seems actually quite big. It could probably fit some small items, small little trinkets and things inside of it. It's kind of a large, chunky little thing.
Owen's just going to stow it inside his tunic, so to speak, looking very emotional.
I'm going to change the subject and say, okay, what are we going to do about these giants? I can send Riker out there, but he's probably just going to tell me that they're waiting for the orcs. So I agree with Loic. that we should go ahead and let me answer the door because someone rang the doorbell, and I will be right back.
I say with
What? That was so smooth.
Oh, that was the giants ringing the doorbell.
Ding dong.
A very loud boom, boom, just goes straight through the entire dungeon.
I'm just going to look to Gamel and say, I agree with the hammer.
I think while that may be what we do when we actually talk to them, our plan is still the same. Master Wizard needs to rest. Our plan is to deal with these orcs and then set up a space where we could prepare ourselves to face the giants in our most refreshed condition.
Why don't we just sneak past them? I mean, we have the weapons.
Lil rattles her armor to display her stealthiness.
Owen's going to look to Erin and just say, you were trained as a ranger. Were you taught any tricks on how to get people past obstacles?
I can be stealthy enough. I might be able to get a group round with certain magics, but the best magic we have here is Loic.
And you know, it'd be really great for Loic right now. Just a little bit of shut-eye. Just a little bit. Tiny bit. Please, I'm begging.
So you want to cast the hut, and then we'll take some rest. But I'm trying to think about what you'd need tomorrow, Loic. Well, after the rest.
Would I need to what now?
Could you possibly make a couple of us invisible so we could flank these things, and then some of you address them, and then if it goes eerie, we can take them from behind?
How about a distraction?
Tell you what, let's go ahead and throw the hut up so that we can get to work, and y'all can talk about strategies about when the hut goes down.
That's what I'm
while
saying.
We're in there. Okay,
Yeah.
Great. So I'm gonna get to the middle of this room, and everybody comes around me. It's gonna be very tight.
Send them ghastly to the roof.
So you all start spending a couple hours now, starting your long rest, right?
At least
Loic
hands out soup.
throws up the hut. Everyone that was inside is able to move freely in and out from that point on. Yes, Gideon?
Gideon will be staying awake throughout the entirety of this long rest, or at least attempting to. Not consciously, but he's not familiar with the concept of sleep.
Okay. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. During the long rest, you will gain... do another one for me, actually. Second.
Bearing in mind he won't have eaten either. He's also not familiar with food.
He has given... Owen did give him his rations.
He did, but he doesn't know what to do with it.
Okay, fair enough.
Aaron's probably going to sit down and eat some rations. He might get an idea.
You're not going to have soup? Lovely pea and ham soup?
Are you still holding the soup?
No, Elisa's holding the soup now. She's very upset about this.
Owen's just
She's offering soup to everybody.
The soup had to go. The soup had to go in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Come back out again. Did we put it on one of the plates to reheat it?
You might get it some flavour.
That's a good idea. Oh, that's a really good idea. Let's reheat the soup.
Nudge the
plates.
nudge the cauldron out into the.
We just drank it back.
Good call.
Gideon, throughout the course of the long rest, while everyone else is getting their hit points back and all of their expended spell slots and half their expended hit die, you don't gain the benefits of a long rest. You don't get your health points back or anything like that.
Yep.
You can spend hit die to heal up if you need to, but you also gain 2 levels of exhaustion.
Fine.
So as a result, you now have disadvantage on ability checks, and your speed is halved.
Okay.
You will be able to, because we've not done exhaustion before, you will be able to regain back 1 level of exhaustion after a long rest or having eaten a full meal within the day. Okay?
Okay.
Can I assume that he's fairly visible to everybody, and it's obvious that he's going to be flagging at this point.
Not during the rest.
No. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll make it simple.
What about the elf that only rests 4 hours and then just sits there for another 4?
That's fine for the elf.
Would she notice that he's
He'll
like...
have just
You would
sort of-
notice that he hasn't eaten and that he's not slept. He seems uncomfortable, but you would just notice that.
He'll have just been basically at rest, so Halbert's out in front of him, and he's just like almost like sentry-like position, looking back down the corridor the whole time.
Alright,
You wouldn't
Leo
be able
will
to
offer
see
him some soup.
swaying or anything like that.
Leo will take her mess kit, and she, during the part of the rest, will offer him soup to take. She'll be like, "Here, have some of this. It's really good." At least it's a fantastic cook.
Thank you. And he's just going to sort of hold it in one hand, very uncertain as to what he's meant to do with it.
And Leo like just frowns, and she just kind of like mimics lifting her hand to her mouth and like opening her mouth and like mimics drinking,
These...
like you do with a baby.
Aaron's going to go very SAS, kind of like get food when you can, get sleep when you can kind of mentality. He's going to come just pour out some into a bowl, snatch some bread, and just sit down and just start scoffing.
He's just gonna be looking at the bowl, and he'll smile at you contentedly, but these are concerns of mortals, child.
You look quite mortal to me, friend.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Owen's just kind of, his attention's been caught by this conversation. He's going to go on and just say, like, it's not hard, just put it in your mouth and swallow.
You do not understand. The brethren do not need sustenance in this manner.
Do you really feel that?
Do I feel that, DM? Is there any way for him to actually examine himself at this point?
He's
Does
exhausted.
his stomach rumble?
Preferred exhausted.
You've only been mortal now, because this is actually towards the beginning of the long rest. This is before people are going to sleep.
Yeah.
You've only been mortal for 10 hours.
Hmm.
As a result, you're not really that hungry.
Yeah. So he's just gonna look around at you and say, these are not concerns of my kind. I appreciate your countenance and thought in this manner, but it is unnecessary. The brethren
telling
provide
us.
for the children. The children do not provide for myself.
So you're telling me that you're not mortal?
I thought I made it clear, child. Oh, hang on, no, were you actually about when he said that? When we were having the whole discussion, you weren't,
No,
were you?
I
No?
was on the surface.
Okay. Child, I forget that you are not there, but no. The mortal realm is not one that I've ever inhabited before.
I would be
This-
like, he's from Eberron.
I was just gonna like glance at Lois and say like, what?
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 Yeah.
What?
Does anybody else know what Eberron is?
Fairy
Everyone
tales?
else that wants to see if they know about it can roll history checks.
Oh no, Owen's happy for story time.
Well,
Anyone that
nothing.
doesn't get over a 20 won't know what Eberron is.
Yeah, or blank stares at Loic. But at the same time, he's finished off his other bowl. He's going to grab Gideon's now that he doesn't want it, and he's going to start on that.
He's going to hand it to you quite happily.
It's fairly obvious now that Owen's just sorry as a side note, Owen's eating his own rations. He's staying way clear of Veluste.
Elise is like, no need to fight. There's plenty to go around. So, just quite happy to ladle out more.
It's good. It's
I've
good.
got three gallons of this stuff.
Finally, we've got a cook. It's very good.
So for clarification, is it that Gideon doesn't understand the concepts of food and sleep, or he does understand the concepts, he just doesn't think he needs them?
He doesn't understand. Well, he knows of the concept of sleep and hunger, but since he's never been mortal and doesn't expect himself to be mortal, he doesn't know what it feels to be hungry, and he doesn't know what it feels to be tired. He just knows that those are things. Until he learns that hunger is a thing and tired is something that he can feel, he won't understand why he should care about them himself. He should care about everyone else experiencing those things, but not himself. Yes, Leonie?
So we fought some gods in our past.
Not really. Yeah.
I mean, kind of, a little bit. in my mind, immortals don't bleed. We've clearly seen Gideon injured.
You've
I don't
also
think Flael
seen
has.
the only immortals you've seen that you could consider to be immortals have bled.
Yeah.
The demon prince has bled.
But they bled because they were in our plane, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna sit on this for a while. Think about it.
Glad to be the point of contention.
Is there anything else that you guys would like to do over the course of the long rest? And bear in mind that you guys can't do anything other than light talking and keeping watch for 2 hours in that long rest, unless you're an elf and you get the 4 hours.
Do I get those max hit points back from a long rest or a full rest?
Long rest. So you get the max hit points back, but your temp hit points go back down to 0. Okay.
10 hit points last 24 hours. But it's
Fair.
not after a full rest 24 hours from the point I got them, so we need to keep track.
I'm just going to slip to one side, be quite silent, keeps himself to himself, but he's going to be seen sort of twirling the, sort of twisting the pendant in his hand, just staring at it from time to time.
Taman will bring Riker back and tell him to not go outside because it's dangerous with the giants lurking there, but to stay as close to the entrance as possible while still being out of sight, so as to be able to hear if they either try to start damaging the structure or if they move away. So he'll be able to sense those things and instruct him to try and wake me, to actually fly down here and start pecking on my head if he senses danger.
At what point during the long rest would you have sent Riker out?
Before we started the long rest.
Or can he actually get through it?
Okay, so Taman would step outside the hut,
Periodically.
send them out,
Yep.
and then
All I'm thinking is if he comes back in to try and peck you on the head, if he can't get through the bubble,
We'll just be pecking on the.
that's a good point. He'll
do
be,
Morse code. On the,
I will
I'm
tell
sure
him
Gideon
that,
is
but
seeing, but
I will tell him that, but I would not have thought of that. So he will be trying to reach me in vain. He might be able to wake me telepathically. I don't know. We'll find out.
I'm sure Gideon will see it if he does.
Loic, since you know your spells better than anyone else, do you think Riker could telepathically communicate with Taman, while Taman is inside the hut and Riker isn't?
Okay, well, it would depend on how we would classify the magic used that is the source for the telepathy.
Mhm.
So, in that way, I would be in favor of treating it like psionics, in which case it's not a spell.
Okay.
But that's just me.
We've been in the hut before, and Angaste's been able to communicate with Leo. I would imagine that a familiar would work much like a steed, in my mind.
Okay.
So
Then
long as telepathy.
We've done that. Telepathy will work fine. About 4 hours into the long rest, Taman, you get woken up by Riker, who has this vivid tale to tell of a fourth giant. The fourth giant approached, this one looking a little bit bigger than the rest. Also seems to have a dragon skull on his head. He steps forward, and Riker is giving you almost a play-by-play of what's going on. He steps forward and immediately just starts laying into these 3 giants, and he smashes them to pieces. He's got this huge great axe that he's swinging, and with one swipe he takes the head off of one of the giants. Another of the giants, the one that seemed to be carrying 2 big shields, he actually runs up the one shield, jumps off of it, and just smashes the giant down to the ground, crushing him to pieces. And then with time and with an agility that Riker seems is a bit strange for a creature of his size, he manages to skirt past the 2 shields, get in and slay the last giant. And now this fourth individual has actually propped up the 3 giants plus the shields in such a way that he can actually lean against them. And he lowers the dragon helm the dragon skull over his eyes and leans back, facing the entrance to the tunnel, waiting.
So I ask Riker if it looks like the super giant is taking a position to sleep or rest, or if he's just sitting there waiting for us to come out.
He seems to be waiting for something. You don't know what, but it almost looks like he's falling asleep.
So Taman wakes up and then wakes everyone else up and relays all the information to everyone. I think we should go have a chat with this giant.
What giant?
Did you also tell us what it looked like?
Yes, I told you everything that Aaron told us.
Aaron, I know a little bit about this whole situation. Do I recognize the helmet?
History check. With
Sure.
advantage, because you've heard these stories.
What makes you think he's not after the weapons any more than the others were?
This seems weird, but you know of a giant that used to be part of an adventuring party known as Force Grey. And it seems to match the description.
Well, unless another giant killed him and took his armor, it sounds like you're talking about someone called Harshnag.
Wait, who's that?
Not a bad guy.
Gamel's kind of grumpy since we've only been sleeping for 4 hours, and he'll say, "Well, he's not coming down here now, and I'm still sleeping." And he's just gonna roll over. He's cuddling Whelm like a little stuffed bear, and he goes back to sleep with his cheek on the hammer.
Yeah, ditto. And I'm gonna put my cowl over my head and carry on.
We've had 4 hours. Am I refreshed?
If you slept throughout the entire thing, yes. But, here's the kicker, you still need 8 hours for a long rest. Okay?
So I
You
don't
gain
have
the
my-
benefits after 4 hours, but
Okay.
you still need to rest for 8.
Would walking up there and having a chat be too exertive?
No.
I can go.
I will go with you. Wait. Do you speak giant?
You might speak common.
I might.
It's likely that he has other ways to communicate with people.
What do you know of this creature?
Not so much the creature. I know descriptions and odds and ends and trivial information about this band of adventurers sort of like us. Not as thorough. But they're called Force Grey.
They be ally or foe?
Everything that I've heard about them has been wishy-washy. I mean, sometimes they do good, sometimes they do bad. I don't know what their intent is.
I'll come
Yeah.
with you just in
Force
case.
Grey, for your knowledge, the stuff that you know is that they are notoriously destructive.
We'll
So
see
I-
the evidence of that.
Seriously, you just said he's gone to sleep himself. He might be just as grumpy as me and the dwarf right now. Can we not deal with this in the morning? If he turns into conflict, you've only had short rests. Just get some sleep, speak to him in the morning. Everybody's going to have a better temperament.
I don't want to run the risk of missing our opportunity to chat with him. And I do still have some spell slots available that would allow one of us to parlay with him and not be the target of any spells. They would be completely safe from any danger.
If he knows we're here, then why? Then we might miss our opportunity to escape. He might just go away if we leave him.
And I'm not a half-breed, I'm a full elf, so I get all my benefits of a rest in 4 hours. So you go back to sleep. Me and Taman will go have a chat.
He's probably waiting for the minions of the other guys to come out. He's waiting for somebody to come out of here. He's just expecting it to be the orcs or whoever their minions are going to be, and not us.
Maybe he was sent by Silvery Moon.
Well, let's go find out. There's only one way to know.
I'll
I'll be
go,
fine.
I'll go with just in case it turns sour.
Yeah, Gideon's awake, so he's definitely going.
Can we, Aaron, do you mind if we use your bag?
Using
Oh
it
yeah,
as a-
this.
I was using it as a pillow.
Thank you.
Oh, and I was going to toss him his spare bedroll, just as he uses a pillar, all rolled up.
When we get to the cave entrance, or the tunnel entrance, the dungeon entrance, Taman will cast Sanctuary on Lael and trust Lael to be our face.
I make sure to pull my helmet down then.
I was about to say, to the drow, I guess with the drow, it's going to go to...
I have no
Drow
business.
diplomats.
I'm just a giant suit of armor.
That's Hitler as a UN peace envoy.
So, 4 of you are gonna head out of the mountain to speak to this giant.
Yeah.
Okay. The moment one of you, whoever's first, who is first?
I'll go first,
Yeah.
but I'm going to say that I would have switched Moonblade to a +0. And that's all. That's what I would have done.
Okay. As you step out of the clearing towards him, he doesn't move. Still, not with the skull down.
You're not orcs.
And you're not a fire giant. Nice work.
What are you doing up there? I was expecting orcs.
Oh, we killed the orcs.
Fair play.
And I see you killed the fire giants.
That I did.
If you don't mind, who is it that I have the pleasure of talking to?
The name's Harshnag. What's yours?
Leastre. And people just call me Leo. Don't bother yourself with it.
Right, Lil.
What are you doing here, if you don't mind me asking? We're trying to work out if you're going to do the same to us as that you did to the fire giants.
You're a little small to be the giant, so I've got no problem with you.
Okay. So you only have problems with other giants?
Right now, yeah. I'm just up here, just kind of fixing some problems.
What problems? Don't you mind sharing? It's been a really long day and some really strange stuff has happened. I wouldn't mind having a bit of clarity in this situation because I feel like we've been dragged into it.
Lifts up the skull, leans up onto his leg.
And why does my business matter to you?
Personally, it doesn't really matter to me. But we were hired to come to this dungeon to procure some items that we may or may not have to really keep them out of hands of giants. And then 3 fire giants turned up with a bunch of orcs. We were sitting in the dungeon wondering what to do about the fire giants, and then you came along and solved our problem.
So, you're fighting against the giants?
I'm not too clear about that at the moment.
Owen's actually going to come, bursting out of cover now. Just say, you're damn right we're fighting them.
Good. I can do with some help. Do you have time?
You look tired. We're very tired. Should we reconvene in the morning? Over breakfast?
You're here?
Alrighty. Well, there's just a few other people in downstairs that might want to hear this as well.
How many's a few?
How many are with me? 1, 2.
You got 4 with you.
4 with me.
So
Oh, sorry, no,
Three
with you
with
before
your
counting you.
retainers.
Yeah, probably get 6. There's 6 down there.
It's quite the group. I remember when I used to travel with a group that size. Say you were just hired.
That's hired, requested, asked for a favor, dragged, turned up randomly. It's, as I said, it's been a really strange day.
Speaking from experience.
And he picks up his axe and he's got pointed right at you.
I know groups of people, such as yourselves, tend to have an uncanny ability to get into the worst of trouble. So how about I get you into some of the best trouble there is?
That sounds like the good kind of trouble.
With him saying this and pointing the axe at her, Gideon's actually going to step forward a little bit and try and shield her body from him.
Leo just like pushes him aside with her arm.
He's going to take a step forward so he's out of her way and then do it again.
She's just going to leave him this time and just peer around him to continue looking at the giant.
You all know that the giants are attacking lots of people, right? Doing things they shouldn't.
Yes, I've heard rumours. I thought there might have been another war on, or suspected as much.
But you don't know why.
No.
I know why.
Why?
Do you also know why they are collecting magical items?
That I do. I need help solving this whole situation. If you're willing to help, I'll tell you what I know.
Well, I can't speak for everyone in the group, but I'm definitely interested in getting to the bottom of this.
Okay.
Wonderful!
And he jumps up onto his feet and just steps towards you. He's like,
Right. Here we go. Here's the situation.
and he's leaning down towards you and got his hand on the floor next to Gideon, and his hand is huge. Gideon. Quite ominously big right next to you.
Look. The Ordning has been smashed. Since the Ordning got smashed, the Storm Giants just lost all the control. They can't keep their line of things. Questions at the end, don't worry. What's up? What do you want?
Sorry, what's an Ordning?
Oh.
Right.
I'm not a giant, so...
I forget
imagine...
simple folk don't know the ways of the world.
No, sorry, and I'm very simple. I'm not from around these parts. I'm down below.
Try to make it as simple to you. Where are you from?
At the Underdark.
What part in the Underdark? It's pretty big.
North? I guess directly under here.
What
Thinking
I'm asking
about it.
is, do you have any kind of society that you're from?
She takes off her helmet. I'm a drow.
Ah, cool. Knew a drow, similar to you. Look, Menzo Baronzon. Everything
That's
has
where
a
I'm from.
system. Perfect. Everything has a system.
Yes.
You follow the Order. The Order controls everything.
Right,
The
yes.
ruling house are on top.
Yes.
They keep everyone in line. All of
Yes.
that good stuff, right? Ordning, same thing. Keeps all the giants in line.
Right.
Ordning gives the Storm Giants the power to keep all of the rest of the giants in tow. Now, the Allfather, blessed be he, and all that, he shattered the Ordning recently. Don't know why, but since then, the Storm Giants haven't been able to control giant kind. Now, all of giant kind are going about trying to gather whatever power they can so that when the Ordning is reformed, they're on top.
Right, I understand.
I need a group of people to help me get to the Eye of the Allfather, where we can talk to him, find out what's going on, and fix this whole situation. Find out why we can't get a hold of King Hector.
Is he the leader of the Storm Giants?
Ah, you catch on quick. I like you.
Okay. Sounds simple enough, but obviously there are more questions, like how?
You ready to go?
Gideon's just going to sort of look up at this guy, who I presume his face is pretty much a bang above him. So yeah, kind of his head back. This place you speak of, where is it found?
It's just up the mountains here. In the spine of the world, you know, where you are.
Then I shall accompany you.
I need to go get the others. They're going to be really grumpy. They're really, really tired.
So, Mr. Giant,
Yes.
the ones who led the orcs, what do you know of them?
Fire giants.
Fire giants keep orcs?
They keep them as slaves. Fire giants are pretty mean creatures. They tend to take a lot of harsh creatures as slaves, do their bidding, I suspect they wanted the orcs to head down in that tunnel that they couldn't reach in, do all their dirty work for them.
What sort of giant are you, child?
I'm a frost one. That means I'm cool.
And why is it that you do not seek the power to take over this swordling?
Because I know my place.
Insight check. Dear.
He is a very good-natured. Like, you just can't help but feel he's being honest. He's a good guy from everything he's saying.
Righty. Well, I'll try and wake the others. Actually, I will wake the others. Give me 20 minutes.
If they're asleep, and I know what adventuring does to people, let them sleep.
Alrighty.
Catch
So,
a bit of shut-eye myself. Come and disturb me when you're done.
right. See you at breakfast.
And with a heavy thud, back down.
I come out and I ask Harshnag if he has the ability to shrink himself down, because we can invite him into the tunnels to be safe from the elements and any predators.
Nah, I can't do that. But why would I want to be small? It's a nice
right.
night. It's not too cold.
Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
I like this giant, Mel says as she walks away.
So you head back into the tunnel, you start heading your way down, back towards the hut and everyone else who's still fast asleep.
If they're all doing that, Gideon's probably going to position himself at the entrance to the dungeon at the top of the stairs, just to keep an eye on the local area.
Okay.
Oh, we gotta fix you. That's a character talk.
I gotta stick to it.
Yeah, wait, gotta fix that. It's weird.
I wake everyone else up again, and I let them know what the deal is. I know you guys want to sleep. I want to sleep too. I just wanted to make sure you guys had all the information. I'm going back to sleep.
It was Hershnak, by the way. He's really nice.
They're all over.
I'm gonna go talk to Liz, she's probably up.
Possibly. Alright, so you all rest for the rest of the night, gain the benefits, those that we've talked about, and you wake up right as the hut is starting to fizzle out and the spell is ending. You all wake up, ready to start the day. You start packing up your camp. What are you doing?
In fact, thinking about it overnight, could I have spoken to Harshnag about something?
Sure.
Okay.
What would you like to have? Like, just generally conversation?
No, something specific. Gideon's gonna...
Possible we could maybe, you and I, private RP this later, or
Yeah,
will
if
it
you
matter
want,
to
I'm
your
not...
behaviour for the rest of the session?
I don't know, it's to do with why Gideon's there. He's looking for guidance, if that makes sense to you.
Alright, fair enough.
It's up to you on that one.
After the discussion with him, you will have felt more secure about why you're there, what your purpose is, especially
Have you gotten
with
the sense
how
of
much...
where he's supposed to go, like a general direction?
Yeah, he mentions a lot about, and we'll go into this, about how the gods usually have a plan for everything, and doesn't know why the Allfather shattered the Ordning, but there's usually a plan, and the best place to go is a place where you can consult the gods, and you can consult them and find out what they actually plan. Okay. Alright. So are you all packing up and just heading up?
I ask Elise if she can feed a giant.
She'd love to try.
That could be misinterpreted very badly.
I just wanted to make a check to see if I knew what the Allfather was.
That would be a history check. Unfortunately, you don't know what the Eye of the Allfather is. Right now, at least. So, you all wake up. Taman has explained a little bit more about the situation now that you're all kind of clear and aware of what's going on. Harshnag is just out at the entrance of the cave, just waiting for you. You expect him to be there when you move up. What are you going to do?
Bell greets him. Good morning.
Morning.
Sleep well?
Of course. No better place to sleep than under the starry sky.
Aaron's going to look at the dead giants and go, nice work.
So these are the rest of my companions that I was mentioning about earlier, and these are my retainers, and this here is my giant steed. So we've talked about the why. Let's talk about the how. You said you wanted our help. How can we help you?
Right.
Gamel's gonna go through the dead giants for loot while this is happening.
I'll help you.
I was going to suggest that.
Okay. No problem.
Story plot driven quest here. Priority. True adventures to the end.
I was going to look at them for clues about where they came from and stuff, more or less than loot, because I don't think anything they've got is going to be any bigger than what we have.
In all of their loot, the things that are on them, you find 2 huge bronze gongs, a giant-sized necklace made of iron ingots, and a dented steel shield. But nothing else. And all of it's worth nothing.
Might take the iron ingots. Gamel, do iron ingots going to be useful for you for crafting?
Yeah, actually, I could make some fletching-less bolts for my bowless gun here out of those. So I'll take those.
That's what I think. Yeah, I'll put them in the bag of holding for the time being.
You have 9 iron ingots. Sorry, Lael, what did you say?
I said that you told us about the why. Now tell us about the how. How can we help you?
There's a place, not far from here actually. I was kind of on the way. Good to see you. Called the Eye of the Allfather. It's an oracle of oracles. You can go there and communicate with the Allfather himself, or at least with his voice. You with me?
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
There I intend to find out what has happened to King Hecaton, and why the ordning was shattered, and how we can fix those 2 things.
Okay, so you want help fixing the ordning and finding the King of the Storm Giants.
Absolutely. I usually find with these things, the gods tend to send you on it's usually a bigger thing than something that one person can do. I know the power of a party, so I could do with help.
Can I buy arrows at this oracle?
Buy arrows? No.
Oracle, does he have any parameters for question asking? A limit to how many questions we can ask? Can we only ask it in giant?
Given
You
our
know
history of
everything.
Questions.
Because he's been there a couple times.
Aaron's going to take out 11 arrows out of his inventory and hand them to Owen.
Are there not any towns in these parts? No, I mean, I don't know why anyone would want to live halfway up a mountain. It's freezing. But are there not any towns nearby?
Mirabar's not too far away.
Is it on the way?
No.
Can you fit in there?
The Eye of the Allfather?
No, the town.
Oh, yeah. I've been in Mirabar a bunch of times. Everyone makes room for me.
Oh, are we
just like
we going-
wide-eyed.
are we going to the west?
Yeah, it's a bit west of here. Mirabar's just a bit past the Oracle.
Southwest, northwest, just straight west?
We'll head out of here west, and then move up north into the mountains. A bit southwest of that point would be Mirabar.
Okay. Well, if we happen to pass by Longsidle on our way back to Silvery Moon, I wouldn't mind stopping by there. Anyone wouldn't mind that.
I've never actually had the chance to speak to the Oracle myself, but here's what I know. Any creature in the Oracle can ask a question to the Oracle, and it can answer 6 questions per day.
Yes.
If it's got the answer, it will answer. However, it only speaks in Giant. I'll be happy to translate for you, but that's what it does.
Thank you.
No problem.
So that's 1 each, right?
He starts counting on his hand.
Looks like there is about 11 of us.
Oh, don't count those 3. They're not adventuring people. They're just members of my household that I've just dragged along for the ride.
Yeah, I'm just going to look to the retinue and be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it sound like... I'm sorry.
At least, don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine.
Do the questions need to be in forms of questions, or can it be like, show me blank?
It can't show you anything. It'll speak answers if it has the answer.
Okay.
Do the questions have to be in giant?
No. But the answer will be in giant.
So, guys, do you want to go speak to the Oracle of the Allfather and help our new friend out here?
Just out of curiosity, how many days travel is that?
5.
God, I don't have the time for this.
I'll pay.
Yeah?
I know how you adventuring parties like money.
How much is this worth to you?
Jiggles about in this huge pack that he has next to him. It looks almost identical to Erin's bag of holding, but bigger.
Oh, you can get giant-sized ones!
A couple hundred gold each.
I worked for less.
Yeah, let's go. I don't want to delay any longer and cause more towns to fall beneath ravaging giants.
Righto.
And he just starts charging off ahead of you all. He does walk at your pace, so you can see him kind of almost dawdling, but he does stay ahead of the group, leading you on through the mountains. The journey will take 5 days to get there. Is there any sort of downtime stuff you guys want to be doing during that time?
Aaron needs to hunt and kill some deer to feed his sword with.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I'll
Alust,
forage.
and if you donate that food, Alust will cook it for you.
I'm good. I'm not just going to aimlessly kill the deer and then just leave it. It's going to be like foraging for food. Sure,
black rain.
It gives real definition to the term soul food.
Well done. That was a good one.
So, Aaron, make a survival check for me. You're all just generally going to be foraging throughout, and Harshnag will help you. This is for Aaron to specifically make sure he kills something. You are able to keep a steady pace of finding at least one animal to slay. After about 3 days, though, Black Razor does start saying to you, "Really? Deer again? Tired of venison. Do you have
Gideon.
anything bigger?"
Don't look at the giant, whatever you...
I won't lie to you. But we're not killing him, so I'm sure we'll come across something soon.
Gideon will have spent this travel time doing the same thing, not sleeping, not eating.
I can get you some rabbit.
Does Owen, with an 18, does he manage to get twice as much? How much food would he get from that? Would he be able to feed the party?
So I think we discussed and agreed beforehand. I'm not going to be having you track every bit of food you eat and gain, because that's a level of metagame that is a lot more number crunching than necessary.
Yeah,
but
fair
you
enough.
do manage to get enough food to feed everyone and have spares left over in case there's no food later.
Okay, cool.
What were you going to say, Loic?
Our in-game excuse for that is that we have a supply of food in the fort, always, in crates and stuff. I'd also like to do stuff during this time of travel, but I'll wait till everyone else is good.
What would you like to do?
Alrighty. Well, I want to send a spell of sending to the guy at the Mages College that was the original quest giver.
Okay.
And I will say, sentient items acquired, following lead to Eye of the Allfather.
Okay. Does he get to respond? I don't think so.
Yes. Yes, he does. 25 words or less, I think, still.
Okay. Understood. Keep us posted. That's it. Yeah. That's all the
Lol.
information he has.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lol, yes, thanks. Smiley face.
Good job.
XD.
Okay.
And then the second thing, during any downtime when we're just moving and not really doing much, one, I want to see if Aaron will let me ride him.
Aaron's going to stay in normal form for now.
That's your prerogative. That's cool. I just want to check.
He's not against you riding him. The fact is, I don't change. My items don't change with me. I have to get naked and carry everything.
Okay, yeah. We don't have to do any of that. Okay.
Hey.
I would feel very weird.
Yeah.
On your back.
If I said bareback, I completely meant it.
I didn't know.
Okay. Anything else?
And then I'm also going to be working on a book. Writing a book.
Not about that.
I will say, Gamel has a bunch of crossbows he's not working with too much. So presumably, when we pop the instant fortress throughout our trip, I'm going to offload some gear and some stuff, but that'll be all for Gamel.
You'll offload it onto your bunk, where there'll be plenty of space for you. And Lael?
I'd like to check in with home, see if there's any news.
Using
Let them know I'm
the
wandering around.
Moonblade.
Yeah, let them know I'm wandering around the north, complaining it's cold.
They actually do give you a bit of news. Everything's going okay. Things past a day or so have started getting a little weird being drow on the surface here, as word has it Luskan was recently raided by a huge army of drow.
Huh.
No word on survivors or anything, but it's a difficult time to be a drow right now, past couple of days.
Well, let the rest of the party know that Luskan has been raided by a large drow party.
We have a teleport circle there, don't we, Loic?
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there, in case we ever wanted to check in with some other drow.
Like my drow?
Any drow. There's news of Luskan, and we can go there if we wanted to see. That's just throwing it out there.
I mean, I got a guy. If you want to know, I can reach out.
I'm pretty sure we got the same guy. I'm just saying that we have easy transport if we wanted to check it out. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right. I'll let die.
Anything else, people?
Leo will be getting more and more dressed in fur as the travel goes on.
Okay. Because it is getting colder as you move further up into the mountains. All right.
What's Gideon's state of exhaustion at this point?
Have you not
No,
eaten?
he doesn't know.
Okay.
Come, he must be feeling hungry by now. His tummy must be going.
It's been days.
You would have died by now.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, at what point is he going to wake up to something like this?
I was actually
After the second day of no food or drink, you...
Can we do a passive perception to see if we just note? I don't think he's eaten or drank anything.
Yes, by the end of the second day of travel, where he should be going to sleep again, you all sort of click. He's not eaten, he's not slept, and if he doesn't eat or sleep at that point, he will gain 2 more points of exhaustion. And at that point, you guys start to see he's starting to sway, and he's actually slowed down a lot. His speed is halved, so he's slowing the entire group down already at this point.
So,
Leo's going to take a big hunk of roasted venison.
is that going to actually smart? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Is that going to smell? He's going to whet his
Salivate.
appetite. He's going to salivate. He's natural instincts are going to make him want to eat by now.
She's going to go over to Gideon. She's going to say, I don't know what you were before. I don't particularly care, but I know you're not it now. You are, for lack of better words, dying. And you need to put this in your mouth, chew it, and then swallow it. You will feel so much better. It's not poisoned.
Do not fear poison, child, but death is a mortal concern.
And you, my dear, are immortal.
Make an intelligence save.
Me? Oh, me. Okay.
Gideon.
With disadvantage. Oh, there you go, anyway, yeah.
You're starting to question your resolve about mortality and your immortality, especially if you happened to use your wings at all during that time.
I can't see that he would unless there was reason for it, to be honest.
Well, I have a few more words of persuasion.
Okay.
You cannot serve if you are not at full strength.
He looks conflicted at this point, but you can see some of this is getting through to him. The trappings of this mortal form confuse me. If you truly believe this will help...
I do, and it tastes very good. You will enjoy it. You will find pleasure from putting this in your mouth. Now, I will force feed you. I will force feed you if necessary, but you can do this on your own.
I possess the means. I just never saw the reason.
Okay, well, the reason is you can't serve if you're not at full strength. So, eat this, and you can serve.
Child.
Yes, it will, immensely. And you're wasting away before me, and it bothers me. It is against my goddess's dogma.
Aaron's going to be coming around with a big bone of venison. Tearing off. He's got very meaty teeth now. He's half a bear. He's just tearing chunks out. And then he's going to go, but water is even more important because you'll dehydrate, my friend. So he's going to hand him his canister and have some of that as well.
As Lael mentions goddess, his attention is going to suddenly become fixated on that. You're a goddess. Which lady do you serve?
You drink and eat, and I will answer your question. You do not, I will walk away and ignore you.
I will not argue with you, child.
Okay, so eat something and drink, and I will tell you a story.
He begins to tuck into the meal.
And then you just see, relief. I serve Illustrae, the goddess of the moon and the light to the drow.
That does take his interest. Can I do a check to see if I know what that is?
Go ahead and make a religion check.
With disadvantage.
Yes.
You are not in any shape.
You've only cared about the gods of your realm. Why should the gods of the other realm matter?
Goddess of light and moon. My lady is the goddess of light and sun, honor and compassion and justice. These traits your goddess shares?
I am not up in keep with my studies, that's why I have a priestess with me. But it's nature, beauty, joy, and goodwill.
They sound similar. I wonder if Dollara herself would know of that. If they are somehow connected. Perhaps it is Dollara's form in this world.
Claire's eyebrows are just high in her face, and she goes, Well, you keep eating, and perhaps we can find out.
Yeah, he's going to progressively polish the meal off.
Mm-hmm. And it feels great, it tastes wonderful, and you're starting to get a liking for food and water. And after because you're enjoying it so much, you actually fill yourself up to a point of you put yourself almost in a food coma. And you force yourself to
he's going to do that thing where he's never, overeaten before, so he just super overeats because he doesn't realize he's getting full.
Can we slump him over Angusta?
So, after eating so much and falling asleep just from being full, you are no longer exhausted. Okay?
Cool.
At the end of the second night. On the third day, however...
He has a poo in the morning, and that's the first thing he's ever had.
I didn't want to go into that territory, but yes.
Aaron's going to come up to him in the morning with, a big leaf. Yes.
A new low, ladies and gentlemen.
On the third day, as you're traveling, you're cresting over some mountains, and there's a very cold breeze coming out. It is the first day of winter, as you know it, and this chill just starts cooling you all down, and you do manage to spot a couple miles ahead of you as you're coming over this ridge. There is a hill giant just roaming up the mountainside. And the moment Gamel notices it. He feels Whelm start vibrating and getting excited. After looking at the hill giant moving, you can see that a few 100 feet behind him, he actually has 3 ogres in tow and 6 bugbears, all just running around grabbing whatever bits of food they can. They're about a mile or 2 ahead of you, so you've got time, and they haven't noticed you.
What does Harshnag want to do?
If they're bothering people, which it looks like they are, they shouldn't be up in this neck of the woods anyway. I say we set a trap.
To which point, well, oh, yeah, let's do it. Come on.
Let's do a trap.
What kind of trap would you suggest? I've only got 100.
A big one.
You hide behind this rock, wait for Hill Giant to pass, and you hit him.
That, my friend, is an ambush.
How do we get ahead of them? They're ahead of us. How do we trap them from behind?
They're heading towards you.
Oh. Then yes. That sounds like an effective idea.
Where are you going to hide?
Behind this big rock.
That's a mountain.
You're in the mountains. So everywhere. And he just kind of leans up against one. Almost like if you've ever seen Emperor's New Groove, Kronk just up against the wall.
Yep, I'm, see, hidden.
I go, where'd Harshnag go? Hey, what's the Harshnag? How did we lose a giant?
Let's do this.
You guys are on this side of a pass as the mountains are looming on either side, and it kind of breaks off in this small little valley. This pathway that you can see between, and Harshnag just moves up ahead to take a point up against the wall next to the entrance.
Gamel has just such a long range. He would just stand there and shoot at them to draw them towards us, frankly.
Real quick, can I do a knowledge roll on what I know about bugbears and ogres?
Yep. Go ahead and history check or nature. I don't know if you've faced bugbears before.
No.
I don't think so.
No. They're a type of goblin, and though they seem a little smarter than most goblins and bigger, they are still quite simple creatures, nothing fanciful. Ogres only care about food. That's all that they care about or know about, so they would just look for whatever's biggest and meatiest.
If bugbears are related to goblins, would they count as humanoids as well?
Yes.
So they don't have anything about them that is beyond humanoid in resistances and
Absolutely.
communities. Okay. We doing this?
Well, yeah, if we're all set up, I just want to shoot the bugbear on the right there.
Okay. So as they're coming up and getting closer to it, they're getting to this point. The hill giant is stepping ahead.
I'll
of
say
the rest.
I actually have a range of 400. So if I can get like a lot of shots in advance, I would love to do that.
The creatures are all moving at about 30 foot per 6 seconds. So every time you can take a shot is every time they move 30 feet. So when they reach in range, 400 feet, you can take 10 plus an extra 100, another 3. You could make 13 shots in that time. But they would be 13 loud shots.
Sure. And I actually have to reload after each one, so I can make 6 shots with
Okay.
my musket.
So let's say you manage to get 4 shots in.
Alright, well,
That'll
I'll
hit.
not be expending grit on any of these, just shooting.
Second hit, third miss, but a 4th hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Are they all going to the same creature?
No, let's spread out on just 3 of the different bugbears.
Okay. As the first shot goes off, you all hear this loud and a lot of screaming from the bugbears themselves. and then they start to pick up the pace and they're just running. Ooh, ooh. The hill giant gets up close. I would like everyone to roll initiative. Though whether or not you choose to do anything, completely up to you.
Aaron's I've done a stealth check to hide Aaron. He's going to wait for everybody to go through before we make his attack.
Alright. So, as you move, they're getting closer. Gamel is just pulling off these shots as they're moving in. Owen. They're getting to this point that you can now see on the map. What are you doing?
Okay, Owen's gonna shoot a quick smile back at Gamel as if to say, nice work. And then he's gonna draw his bow and he's gonna go after the bugbears. So he goes after the centre two. One with the right hand one, the one I've just indicated with a normal attack. But you should have advantage, correct? Because it's they haven't acted yet.
Yeah. I'll say that. It hits. And which one were you firing at? One of the middle ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Your shot actually impales it and knocks it back 10 foot. It does manage to stand up. It's looking very weak. Snaps out the arrow and charges. Well, so it's moved back. Another good shot. This one just knocks the shoulder back, but it continues moving forward. Okay. Lael.
I'm just going to get myself in a nice position for a charge. I'm just going to move over here.
Okay. Aaron.
Aaron's going to stay hidden. He's going to trust that the owl's going to go for the big target, and he's going to wait for the smaller ones to come in. So if any of the bugbears or the ogres get through the gate, he'll hold for an attack, but apart from that, he's hiding.
Gamel. You get to pull off another shot if you want.
Yep, I'll just shoot again. The bugbear on the right.
Another solid shot. 9 points of piercing
I have
damage.
potentially I could do 15 points of damage. I think I've done 5 and 3 and 4. 5, 6, and 4. The dice are not doing me any favors today.
Alright. Anything else from you, Gamel?
You know what? I do think, just in case I need to get into some melee stuff, I'll step up, not too far, just move up to there, hurl some dwarvish insults at the giant.
And as you shout them, Whelm is shouting them too.
But Whelm knows giants, so Whelm could be doing it in giant. Mm-hmm. Or I could be say something indistinguishable in dwarvish, and then Whelm says in giant, he said your mother was a... But what would be funny is Whelm's not actually interpreting for me, he's just making up his own stuff and saying that I'm saying it.
The hill giant that's heading up towards you looks focused on you. Because of Whelm. Loic.
Loic has been grinning evilly this whole time and rolling his sleeves up slowly, just keeping his eyes on the massive bodies behind the giant. Then he raises his arms, and as if he's drawing something up from the ground, it's causing him great strain as he casts Avard's black tentacles all over that group.
On the whole group at the back?
We're looking at something like that, yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's a 20-foot cube.
Yep. So these massive tentacles just sprout up. All of those creatures need to make dexterity saves. Correct? With DC 17. Okay. So the ogres first. All of them fail. And the bugbears, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 suffer it. Again, all failed. So, what happens on a failure?
They are restrained, and they take damage. And I already rolled the damage up ahead.
Yeah. The tentacles just reach up and just start lashing out on everyone. They all get stuck and can't move anymore. And in fact, the one that was in the back dies. And this takes 10 points.
Loic's gonna be cackling like madman, going, "Yes, go to Gonagdawa!"
And everyone hits that.
Yeah, can I make a check to see if I know what that is he's referring to?
You can.
Religion?
It will be a religion check. I'm fairly certain you won't know what Gonadar is. Yep, you don't. Anything else, Loic?
That'll be it.
Okay, then Taman.
Taman will reach up to his prayer beads and cast Bless on himself, Gamil, and Owen. So you guys have plus 1d4s to your attack rolls and saving throws. Yep, I guess we will wait for this giant to come into our box of death.
Mm-hmm. Gideon.
Right, okay, in that case I'm going to move behind Aaron. I think I can reach from there. Yeah, so that's fine. I'll stick there and I'm going to cast Bless on myself, Aaron, and the giant.
So many blessings. Everyone feels blessed, except Loic and Lael. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Then it is the bugbear's turn. The bugbear that is restrained, he can attempt to break out of it. Yep. We're going to have 3 dex saves from them. So 2 manage to break out, third doesn't, the rest get to move. So he moves up. This guy is stuck and can't do anything. The hill giant, however, it comes charging through the opening. Are you doing anything, Gideon, when it steps into the opening?
Yeah, I'm going to have a swipe at it.
Okay, go ahead and swing.
That's not going to work on this reaction. That's fine. No.
Do they? Let me double check. When a creature enters the area for the first time on the turn, or it starts the turn, then the creature must make a dex save. Throw or take 3d6 damage. Okay, so let's say the... Right. 1 second, Gideon. Let's go back on that.
That's fine.
1917. So one of them, this one actually died from that. The rest, they succeeded on that. They've got to make more dex saves to be able to see if they can break out. And in fact, only one of them managed to break out. So send that back. Yeah. Cool. And this one is weak. Gideon, you attacked it with your halberd.
Mm-hmm.
You swing at it, but it seems to just bounce off of the flesh.
Okay, I'm going to try and hit it with the base anyway, because it's all part of one thing.
This time, you do manage to hit, or 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
One of these
As
days
you
I will
hit-
connect with the pointy end.
Yep. As you hit with the back end, it just turns and looks at you, and storms the rest of its movement forward, and is going to swing at you. So, it picks out its great club, and for a 27, does that hit you, Gideon?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you take 19 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And for a second attack, it brings another heavy club down, 21.
Yep.
Okay, for another 26 points of bludgeoning damage.
Right. Gideon is very much out for the count.
Okay. At the end of your turn, well, at the end of that creature's turn, Harshnag steps forward, and with a little chuckle and a laugh, reaches up his great axe and swings it hard against this giant. Deals a heavy 25 points of slashing damage against the creature, and then a second swing down between the creature's head for another 26. And then he continues moving around it into the way. Ogres.
Aaron,
yeah.
as I was holding my action, just something.
You
Seeing
did
somebody-
specifically say that you were holding your action for the bugbears, for the smaller creatures to come through.
Right, okay.
Your
That's
trigger
fine.
hasn't happened, unfortunately.
Okay.
Loic, would you like to re-roll 3d6? Just going to do dex saves for the ogres, and all 3 fail. Was that 9? Okay. Each take 9, beginning of their turn, as the tentacles just start whipping at them. and they're going to spend their action attempting to break out. This time they'll use strength checks, and only one of them manages to break out, so he steps out of it and starts charging forward. The rest are still restrained. Owen, it's your turn. Oh, Gideon? Yeah?
Just a quick note, the bless will now be off of Aaron and the giant.
Correct.
Owen is going to sort of look in alarm at Gideon, fall into the ground, and he's just going to shout, "Gideon's down! Get him out of there!" And he's going to quickly skirt across and fire an arrow. No, sorry, use a bonus action first to cast this upon the big giant.
Okay.
And he's going to fire his longbow at the giant as well.
No, so you fire it and it just manages to miss. It goes over the shoulder of this giant that you just missed.
Oh,
Go ahead and roll 1d4. There is a chance. Leonie's dropped out though. No, unfortunately you still miss. Lael.
Is the hill giant within 60 foot of me?
Yes.
Okay, then I will cast command, which is vocal commandment, at him, and I will say grovel. So he now must. I shout out grovel. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or follow the command on its next turn. Grovel makes target falls prone and then ends its turn.
What is your DC?
Spell 16.
Okay, it fails.
Excellent. So he is now prone.
Does he fall prone, or no? On his next turn, he has to grovel, which includes falling prone and ending his turn.
Yes.
Yep.
If I mean force my will on something. Is Gideon still on the floor?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know how much distance it is between me and Gideon. Can I move up behind Gideon and pull him on?
Feet.
Okay. Yes. Then I guess I will move 30 feet, and I would like. Can I use my bonus action to pull him up on my steed to take him away?
Not for a bonus action.
Okay.
Not an unconscious person that is on the floor.
No?
No.
Okay.
You'd have to get off of Angaste to be able to pick him up, put him onto Angaste, and then climb back on yourself.
I have movement, but can I pick him up for a bonus action?
No.
Okay. Well, I would just move up behind him then on Angaste.
Okay.
And my turn.
Okay. Aaron.
Okay, Aaron will come out of hiding and cast Cure Wounds on Gideon at first level. To give him 5 hit points back. And he's
With me being at a minus, does that?
No,
No,
you're now at 5.
Okay.
But I'm like, he's a bit big for you, friends. Maybe back off a little. Then I'm going to. Can I run through his legs and come out the bugbears?
You could get past him, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
You might provoke opportunity attack if you exit his range.
Yes, fine.
Okay, he's going to swing at you. Does a 18 hit you?
Not if I cast Shield, which as a reaction, what I'm going to do.
Fair enough. So it bounces off and misses.
Okay. Then I'm going to use Action Surge.
Okay.
And then attack this bugbear.
Go ahead and swing.
Before I do that, I'm gonna then use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on that thing.
Okay.
So action for healing words, reaction for the shield spell, and a bonus action for Hunter's Mark. So make sure I put it in my hand.
Okay. You hit with a perfect shot, and he falls just straight to the ground after you attack.
So Black Razors, how many hit points do I get from that?
27.
Follow up onto the next one and do my second attack on that guy.
Okay. You have to go.
Yeah, I'm currently in my mum's bedroom, and I'm crashing in her bedroom as well. And she wants to go to bed because she's been at work all day. So, night, guys. Good luck.
Good night.
Same time next week.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron. Swinging again. Hit and kill. A second one. Right. Gamel.
Alright, well, you wanted it. Here we go. Just gonna step over here, and I am gonna chuck Whelm right at the giant's face.
To glory! He shouts as he's flying through the air. A huge thud as he cracks into the side of this hill giant.
23 damage, and I'm gonna use my, and then at the end of the attack, Whelm returns to me, and then I'm gonna use my action surge to do it again.
You almost feel Whelm giggling as you throw one more time. Fortunately, this time he just falls short and comes back.
You got too excited, Whelm. Missed it the second time. Alright, I'm good then.
Okay. Loic.
Alrighty. I'm gonna shoop doop to the other side of Owen here. Get the side of that ogre, and then I'm gonna unleash some fire at him.
Okay, go ahead. Firebolt. You do hit.
Oh, wow.
Managed to connect with a 12.
There you go.
13 points of fire.
I'm good right here.
Little bits of cloth that he's got start catching. Taman said he would have cast Cure Wounds on
Or
Gideon.
Healing Word.
At first level, I'm going to say. Gideon, you get 5 hit points back. Would Taman move? Probably would. I'll let him move retroactively if he chooses to do so.
Probably
Gideon.
Alright, so Gideon, having been laid flat out, his eyes suddenly pop back open, and suddenly coming to focus. The giant is still stood at this point, right?
Yep.
And as he sees this, he hears what Aaron says, but there's a focus in his eyes. And the next second, wings sprout from his back again as he stands up, and he just launches into the sky, and he goes straight for the giant's face at this point. He climbs to a height, goes at him with the helmet again.
You hit the first one.
And that's going to have radiant damage to it as well, I think.
Yep, you deal an extra 1d6 radiant damage.
No, I think it's low level. Yeah, equal to my level, so 4, I think. 4.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.
So your first hit connects, you see it start to wave. You go in for a second and it just misses, but this thing is barely standing. Then it's the last remaining bugbear's turn. He's just going to charge on Aaron and attack Aaron with his Morningstar. Does a 19 hit you, Aaron? Nope, because you've still got a shield up. So he misses, fails, doesn't really do anything else. The hill giant spends his entire turn groveling. He drops down to his knees, but that's all that he can do. Harshnag puts his foot on the giant that's down there and looks straight up. I'm assuming you're now kind of eye level with him, Gideon?
If they're of the same height, then yeah, I mean, it'll be head height.
He's taller than the hill giant. He reaches into his pack, pulls out a potion. Say,
Here, take this.
How big is the bottle?
it's your size healing potion. He grabs it in his fingers.
Here. Take this and get out of here. You no use to be dead.
Okay, Gideon's going to take the potion.
That's all Harshnag is going to do on his turn. The ogre's turn. Ogres still in the Evard's Black Tentacles make dex saves. One of them succeeds, one fails. Loic, would you like to re-roll the damage? Okay. So he takes 9 points of damage. And then they're going to do strength checks to try and... So the ogres try to break out, and the first one fails to break out, but the second one does manage to get past the tentacles and just charges forward to Aaron. We can't do anything. However, this one does go up to Aaron and swings with his great club. With a 16. That's terrible. Owen.
Okay, Owen's going to take a shot at the Hell Giant, whom he still Mantis Mark on.
That is a powerful shot. You aim perfectly, and the arrow goes through this hill giant's head, straight in the eye and out the back, and the giant just drops immediately.
Almost overcome with the scale of his kill, he almost forgets to take a second shot at the thing within this hill giant, this ogre. Sorry.
Yep. This one also hits. As the giant is falling down, you take your second shot, and it just misses the hill giant that's dropping and connects with the ogre. Anything else from you, Owen?
Should have done this beforehand, but I'm going to use a bonus action to switch his hunter's mark to the uppermost ogre.
Okay. So the uppermost ogre is now time to do. Cool. Lael is going to command Angaste to move and dash so that she can come in and attack the ogre that's attacking Aaron. With her lance, it's a 26, that's a good hit, for 11 points of piercing. Stabbing that thing with this huge lance. The lance almost pokes out right in front of Aaron's face. What do you do, Aaron?
Which one's looking the roughest out of the two ogres?
The one that's below you.
So he's going to duck out of the way of the imposing thing and then duck underneath and then stab up from underneath. Do a cut up and then try and raise it under the chin.
Good solid shot.
Sorry, no, I didn't do it. I wanted to move my hunter's mark as a bonus action first, but I didn't do it, so I went to so that plus Slayer. I'm going to throw superior.
The Colossus Slayer. Well, I guess you throw in. You were going to throw in the.
I was going to throw it in.
So
Yeah.
go ahead and use it. The ogre falls at your feet.
Okay. How many hit points on that one?
The ogre is 59.
Okay. I'm going to turn around on the bugbear now, and I'm going to hit that one. I'm going to shift Hunter's Mark onto him first, though. 26.
That's a solid shot. Swing around, and in one quick motion, you take that thing's head off. Clean.
Cool.
Anything else from you, Aaron?
And I'm going to stay there and just smile at the other ogre.
Okay. Gamel.
So I forgot earlier, after my first attack with Whelm, I have to make a wisdom saving throw?
Yes, first attack each day. Okay.
Oh,
You
boo.
Now, yeah.
I am now terrified to be outside. I take and I take disadvantage as long as I can see the open sun or the open sky. Let's see, just for kicks and giggles to make sure that I got this to work right, I'm just gonna move up there and do shockwave. So I take this hammer and I smash it into the ground, and just a wall of force and lightning flashes out.
DC 15 con saving throw. Each
Yeah.
creature that you choose, which I'm assuming would be the
Just the-
ogre.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
you
not
can
what I
get-
arranged.
Both
Are they both in
ogres,
range?
actually, I think.
Great, both of them.
1, 2 con saves. I got a 22 and a 16, so they both succeed.
Ooh.
Loic.
Gonna dance around Owen, end up at the side of the. Is this actually a barricade? Or is it-
It's low rock.
Okay.
You can
And then-
see over it because you've already made one shot over it.
Right, but I can't see over the higher rock wall.
No, not the
Right.
pink stuff.
Okay, good. Great. Then I am going to unleash another firebolt at the ogre that's trapped in the tentacles.
Okay. Immediately his flesh catches on fire, starts to bubble. He's in a lot of pain, still standing, but he is quite injured. Taman, still away.
If you wanted to have my suggestion on what he would do at this point, he'd probably try to close in on that ogre with Aaron. If he can make
Yeah.
it. If he'd start going that way.
He'd go in to help out Aaron, both moves. Alright, Gideon.
Gideon's basically going to take the giant's advice and go screaming in towards this ogre. He's just got the halberd out, point first, and full force behind this.
So ignoring the giant's advice.
He said get out of the way. He didn't say get out of the way in a particular direction.
Go ahead and attack. Both attacks just whack, whack. They both hit.
Yeah, and then there's 4 points of radiant as well.
It's barely standing. It's actually dropped its weapon. It's now very weak. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Harshnag, not happy that you just ran into danger, is actually going to step next to you, and he is going to actually grab you, Gideon.
Can he avoid it? I mean,
You can avoid it.
flying.
He's going to use an athletics check to try and grab at you. And he
Okay.
rolls a 29. Go ahead and roll either acrobatics or athletics
You're not,
to
you're
stop
not,
I
him.
don't think I'm beating this somehow.
you're not playing Grog anymore.
No.
He grabs you, and he continues running. He runs back another 10 foot away from this ogre. And just shouting at you is like,
Seriously, you've done a great job. Don't die yet.
you are now grappled.
Yeah,
by
save it for tomorrow.
You don't understand. It's my purpose.
He ignores that comment. The ogre's turn, I can't see it, but he's going to swing at Aaron with his great club with a 14. That's going to miss. Owen, you are up.
Okay, nice and simple. Owen's just going to step out, feeling thoroughly emboldened by his taking down of such a massive enemy as the Hill Giant, and he's going to take a shot at the ogre that everybody's clustered around.
Did you skip an ogre's turn?
I did. I just realised now. He would have taken damage from the Ebard's tentacles, and that would have actually killed him.
Okay. So it's just the one that's left, yeah?
Just the one that's left, the one that's next to Aaron. You fire, that 19 hits it square. I believe 6 might kill it. No, it doesn't. So you hit it, you manage to deal a bit of damage, but it's still standing next to Aaron. Who's in the turn order after Owen? I think
Lael.
it's Lael. She will stab at it with her lance. 17, that's going to hit. 10 points of piercing. She drives that lance through the head of this ogre, and the body just crumples before her. You all feel this feeling of calm now, as this ambush has been quite
Aaron's,
effectively
Aaron's
complete.
feeling frustrated because he knows he's going to get it in the head by Razor, because he was about to come down on that thing and finish it off, and Razor's like, that was my meal.
Owen's just going to run out and like whoop and overjoyed and say, God, did you see that shot? God, I've never killed anything that big before. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well done, kid. Well done.
We should get underground or like into a building as soon as possible.
Right, what's come into you?
I don't know. There's too much empty space here. It's just a little unsettling. What if more things came at us from the outside? We would be much better to put up the fortress and get inside for the night, just in case.
Owen just sort of shrugs and says, well, he is a dwarf. He does like the underground.
We could make a little bit further before we have to cower inside your little hut tonight.
As he says that, he's going to get a bit of a pushing on his hands. Could you release me, child?
Yeah, sure.
Are you still able to fly at this point?
It's a minute, so you
Yeah,
tell me.
okay.
Okay.
He lets go. Your wings are starting to fade.
Yeah, I'll just
Okay.
descend.
And as you descend and as your wings disappear and fall away, just as before,
Yep.
you see a feather on the ground. Alright, so that's actually the point where we're going to call the session.
Cool.
Now,
So are we gonna like hike for an hour and put up the fort and RP kind of around the evening?
yep. In terms of what you have available to you, you will be continuing to travel for another 2 days, but it's probably best to just focus on one day. Don't really go into any travel time. just focus on setting up the camp, that kind of thing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that session. Let me just calculate XP for everyone, and we'll be good to go.
That was a good one. I enjoyed that.
Very much enjoyed it.
Glad you did.
It was good fun.
Spent so much time preparing spells for fighting fire giants. Spent like 2 days. It's my own. That's what happens. I'm not mad about it or nothing. It's just what happens. But lol.
The tentacles worked out really nicely though.
I am on the surface. This is my domain. I am a wizard. I need areas for my effects, and I have it now. So that's very nice.
I must admit, I just suddenly thought halfway through that, this is the kind of thing that we're down at Thrive in. It's just open space, toy with everything.
The Underdark was hell unloading.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know.
It
No
was
one
a pain
knows.
in the ass for a down as well. It's just, You just didn't have the sight lines or anything.
So, are we headed to Mirabar right now, officially?
No, he's taking you straight to the Eye of the All-Father.
Okay.
If you want to convince him to go to Mirabar, we'll do that next week.
But I just wanted to be clear.
No major urgencies to get there. And it's a bit nervous about having only one of his quivers full at this point, but realistically, that's several seconds. So I'm not going to push it.
Do you not craft them as you're going?
Well, it's not a metal worker, so I can't do that. But
Aaron.
Well, this is
yeah,
this is an interesting question. Can we RP like, oh, it's the evening and we have a forge, like just start hammering some stuff out? I mean, I couldn't be crafting like magical arrows that shoot ice damage or something like that. But to what extent is crafting going to be involved? Because crafting isn't something we do during gameplay, because only one or two of us can do it.
So Aaron's already collected the iron, so we can make arrowheads and bolt heads. So
Just the feathers for the shafts.
So we should be able to make, if we have the time, we can make as many arrows as we want, provided Aaron approves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That sort of thing you guys can do, that's fine. Basic arrows won't be difficult to create, especially with the amount of iron ingots you had just collected. You've got the supplies. That's not going to be difficult to do. I would hesitate to have Owen stock up more than filling his quivers.
No, you'd have no interest in that. That's just whatever.
To be honest, Aaron's quiver is now empty because he gave all of his arrows to Owen.
Well, just to be specific, then I'm missing 17. He carries 2 quivers.
Well, I think what we can probably do is make arrows, and if there are extras, they just get left in the fortress, because we don't have carrying capacity to be carrying extra arrows around. Like, your quiver is essentially your carrying capacity while on the road.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's not that heavy either. It's just the fact that, it's going to be quite... 3 quivers. I'd have as many quivers as I could carry, the normal circumstances, but 2 just seems realistic.
So that sort of thing, that's perfectly fine to do.
Do you want us to roll any checks for that kind of thing? Or?
No, it's super simple. Alright, then as I put up in the chat, everyone gets 770 XP, which should mean that Gideon, Gamel, and Owen, you are now at level 5.
Woo!
Extra attack, get in.
Go ahead and level yourselves up prior to next week's session. Now, as you've hit level 5, the level up will happen a lot slower than before. At this point, it starts getting into the grind. Okay, cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that session. I really did. It was a lot more RP than the past couple.
That was good. I enjoyed it.
Anyway, I'm really glad we didn't. I was really worried about the 3 giants and the orcs at the very beginning, and after all that work, it was kind of mowed right through them. It was great.
She's very good.
I mean, here's the thing. Being the new guy to the group, DMs try to kill their characters, whatever. But coming to this and knowing that people have died before and they will die again, puts me on edge every time we play. It's like,
to be fair, the last major death, Valdasar was mutual. That was somebody I was phasing out anyway.
No. I'm enjoying the stress. Don't take this away from me.
Okay,
don't somehow assure me things will be okay so that Aaron can kill us later.
My first one was completely out of the blue that I didn't know. So there, take that.
No, the first one we kind of set ourselves up for.
Well, I did, but I wasn't quite expecting it to go that far. But then again, I wasn't bothered.
What happened in the first one?
Picked a
So,
random fight.
from my point of view, okay, from the DM's point of view, I had a character, a dwarven fighter, who was straight up mercenary. Didn't care about anything, or the purpose or anything. It was just all about the money. And he gets into a small town of miners trying to reclaim their home. There were two clans of people in this area. One happens to be a clan of were-rats. He happens to go into the group of were-rats, and I believe now I remember correctly, he offered to kill the were-rats, the leader of the were-rats, for the leader of the other group. Now, the other group hates mercenaries to such a degree that caused him to want to make an attempt on the character's life. That attempt failed, obviously, because it was a terrible attempt, but that caused Ivar, the dwarf, and the half-orc barbarian that was with him to storm off, back away from the rest of the group during the middle of a war, head back to the city, where they find a cleric tending to the wounded. They demand that this cleric shows them the way out of town so that they can get back up to the surface, to their own lives. The cleric is like, well, I'll deal with you once I've healed all of the wounded from this battle. They refuse. They then put one of the wounded to knife point, so the level 19 cleric starts going to town on these level 4 characters.
Is that what he wants?
Yeah, I know I think it's level 15, but he's definitely high.
I did not know he was level 19.
And he just, because his charge was being threatened, he used Evard's black tentacles, I believe, to choke the life out of Ivar.
Yeah, it was a fitting end.
To be fair, we came pretty close to killing him, as I recall, as well.
Did. Do you guys feel like I'm trying to kill you?
No,
Nah.
no,
If anything, you've probably been generous, to be honest.
On the opposite hand, it took an incredible amount of effort to kill Valdasar with all those dex saves.
Yeah.
Sorry, but the Beholder and Super Tetanus, yes. Loic has officially died twice. One was a trap. Again, the traps are bad.
I actually tried to kill my second character, and it was just dex save success, dex save success. That was his weakest stat. I couldn't believe it. It was against Beholder.
Yeah, no, to be fair, Valdasar, like, all the way up to the point where just before you saved me from death, brought me back from death, you had made so many wicked dex saves. It was
that
amazing.
was happy accident. That was brilliant.
He was meant to save me.
Yes, it was all fate.
Nice gods were telling us something.
So, long story short, Matthew, I don't tend to kill a character unless there's a reason for it.
Well, I'm still not going to be running into things foolishly.
Good. At least not until you're the same level as everyone else.
That's right. At that point, caution to the wind.
Always check for traps. Always.
Yeah, take a swab of all the spikes that we can kill.
That being said, the 2 traps that have been deadly traps have not been traps that you could check for. I mean, it was Matron Mother Baenri's throne chair that has a disintegrate spell functionality built into it, and the spikes that we're just plain to see.
Yeah, I just out of curiosity, if I decide to flame the spikes, will they burn away the poison?
Nope.
Ah.
Super tetanus.
Super tetanus.
Flame destroys disease. Fire would kill disease.
Not super disease.
Needs to be super
magical
fire.
disease.
Yeah, super fire.
Not inside a Mad Mage's dungeon. Mage that's still alive, apparently.
Who's actually died in the group? Who hasn't died in the group? I mean,
Technically speaking, Lael and Taman, and then the new guys. the new characters haven't died, but Leonie, Carl, and Matthew are the only people with characters that haven't died at least once.
Well, they only did, but it was the prior group, right?
Yeah, but she had stopped playing with us by that point. I'm gonna go to bed, guys. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the session. If you need me for anything, just send me a message.
All right.
Thanks a lot for that one.
Thanks, Eric.
Good night, everybody.